bringing this week's Flight Sim news with thanks to SayIntentions. We're previewing an upcoming feature called Traffic Plus. Evan joins us from Flight Sim Association, chatting about Flight Sim Expo. We check out the Striker from Kwik Flight, TJSJ Airport from Orbx, and some brand new hardware from Corsair, the Galleon 100 SD. Everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week, the halftime show, the midweek shuffle. Welcome to the news. Yeah, we've all the news tonight now, you know. And BJ, it'll be busy. I have multiple things set up with cameras and things to show stuff that I don't really understand, but we'll be showing it anyway. I hope you're having a great day. Yes, busy one tonight. We'll be checking out a brand new upcoming feature coming soon to SayIntentions, and I'm excited to show this one. A little bit later on, Evan will be joining us from the Flight Sim Association. We're going to be chatting about, well, all things from the FSA, and we take a look at what to expect from this year's Flight Sim Expo. We then have some stuff to show off. We have a brand new aircraft released by Kwik Flight. It is that of the Striker, a Cobra, right? But they call it the Striker. And we're also checking out a brand new airport, TJSJ, in partnership with Orbx. We're going to be showing that one off as well. And then we'll take a deep dive into this keyboard gadget device that I've been using since last week, the Corsair Galleon 100 SD. And it's at the higher end now of keyboards, but they've basically said, right, give us a Savage keyboard and a Stream Deck and put them together. And that's what they did. So it's going to be busy. You know, I did science earlier on. Brilliant. You'd be very proud of me now with the science. You know, I did, I launched a stream on TikTok. You know, I'd like to dick to you. Right, I can't read you, but right, good morning. So, because we were talking about TikTok the other day, so I might, you know, not tonight now, you know, but the other streams will do, to see how that goes. But it should be a bit of crack, right? But you're all very welcome in. As I said, hope you had a great day. Fantastic day. We are halfway through the week. This is brilliant. You know, hump day. We're downhill from here. It's great, right? We've already done the heavy pushing. Up the hill we go. Now we're on the far side. It's heading toward the weekend. So, it's not a mad busy week with news, funny enough, which is, it's actually a good sign, really. Developers heads down, you know, chiseling away. But there's still a lot of good stuff happening, so we will cover all of the stuff here now in a moment, you see. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you're very welcome in. Same on Kick, and of course, to our beloved audience here on Twitch. Asher, great, brilliant, right? I have a cold sore. Remember I told you? Nearly lost my entire head. It's all very sore. I put pawpaw cream on it. Is pawpaw a cream? No, it's a Lucas pawpaw ointment. Is he Australian or is he a Kiwi? Oh, it's Australian. Old. No. What's QLD, Australia? province? What's QLD when you see it? Brisbane, QLD, Queensland. We learned something new together. Yes. Queensland. Well done, Murph. You get there eventually. I'd be absolutely shocking in the table quiz. But anyway, Super Typhon is here. Good to see you. Aware about the Discord Face ID implication that'll come into effect. Yeah, so basically, I put this announcement out on Discord earlier on. In line with there's different acts now. The UK have one, the EU have one, right? So it's all about protecting minors, so they're not kind of subject to, egetry. So basically, they want ways in which that you can somewhat kind of prove your age, right? Have you anything to declare? Only my genius. But it is what it is. It shouldn't affect us much. The only thing it'll affect our channel is just getting access into the memes or jokes channel, because they tend to be on the kind of, what did he say? But everything else is going to be just tickety-boo. Do you know what I mean? But reading down through it, it's actually designed to make the platform a lot more secure as well. And it should cut down on a lot of these stupid bot accounts. And you know what I mean? And friend requests and all this kind of stuff. So we'll see how it all rolls out. But I did put out a notification earlier on. But fear not, Super Ty, fear not. Creo is here. Very good evening to you. Vacuum is in the house. Good evening. I've tunes over here, look. Ah, yes. Let me see here now. The upside down person, Mr. TPHI. I've an eyelash or something gone loose. It's driving me nuts. It's all right, I fixed it. Mr. TPHI, I hope you're well. Chalks is here. Good evening, Larry. Did I forget for Larry? Good man, Larry. Welcome in. Let me see, Mr. TPHI. Happy Wednesday. Hope you had a great day. Fiber Strike is in the house, flying to Albuquerque. Ooh, nice. Hermit something. Very good afternoon to Boston. Hope you're well. It's 8 degrees here. Tomorrow it's to be, get this, 3 degrees. Friday it's to be -1. The cold weather's coming back, lads, with a vengeance, right? So, wrap up. Hermit something, it is great to see you. Victorious, good evening. Big Al is in the house. What did you put in the Bremen bar now? I'll be the Janie. It's good to see you, man. APU Inspector, happy Wednesday. AZ Blue Line is here. Eamon, 1973. A very good evening to you, Eamon. CP65 is here, along with Idle Cutoff. Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary. You're looking well. Gar Gaming, hope all is well in County Galway. Shuffle Shoes. Shuffles in. AJH John, hope you're well. Soaring AJ. AJH, man. How's she cutting? Willow How Much is here with 40 streams in a row. Thank you very, very much indeed, buddy. Incredible. The Impossible Face, good evening. Chuck, good evening. Tima is here. Tier 1 for 18 months. Hello from France. Happy News Day. Tima, thank you very, very much indeed for all the support. You absolute ledge. Culkin, good evening. The Impossible Face says, Karachi Radar just lost radar contact with me. But all is recycled the squawk. You'd be grand. Fingers crossed. Sunjammer, good evening. Tonight we get a little higher as more money is taken from or little lighter as more money is taken from our wallets. Yes. Anthony V, hope you're well, buddy. Kia ora. Toto, 24.95. Good to see you, Toto. Hope all is well. And the missus. Spitfire RAF 100 is in the chat. Good evening to you. Alberto, welcome in. Just Roy on final. Good to see you, Roy. How's she? Oh, come here, Roy. I installed the map enhancement for X-Plane. Janie McJanie. Right. Savage. It's made such a difference. Unbelievable. Stick Figure, good evening. Top Gun Glenny, welcome aboard. Hope all is well. Malky Mac is here. A very good evening. Rookie Pilot, happy Wednesday. Stu Snape, good day to you, sir. Hope all is well. TG Sims is here. PS Mirandai, hello there. Hello there. Hope you're well. Bald Eagle, bonjour. Corn Wolf, a very good evening. Strap 21, hola. Old Veteran is here. Happy Hump Day, everyone. Hope all is well with everyone. Super excited to have Evan here to chat with us about Expo. What are y'all excited to hear about on the news today? Well, great question, Scott. Yeah, weather forecast. Evan, the add-ons, the SayIntentions stuff. I didn't do anything stupid today. At least I don't think I did. Hang on, did I? I do stupid stuff all the time. No, I didn't. No, it's actually all right. Why did the artist move his desk into the hallway? To finally get some creative space. Oh, Jesus, here we go again. Muse, Banhammer. Lunar Howl, good evening. Flying Winnebago is here. Nutty Slack, it's me. It's you. It's I. Good to see you, buddy. Careful what you show us, right? Chris Van Halen, good evening. Gibbo Ireland is in the chat. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Willow says the striker has scored a bit of magic. Ooh. Uniform Goose is here. Good day, Goose. Happy Wednesday. Black Sheep Jean is here. Thanks for the tour of your cave. You're most welcome. Good to see you, Jean. Now, let me see. Martin Kerry Aviation has subscribed Tier 2 for 41 months. Martin, thank you very, very much indeed. Lads, check out Martin's Instagram page. You'll see it under Martin Kerry Aviation. Very nice. Beautiful pictures. Muse Fan is here. Happy Hump Day. And that's all I'm going to say about that. As he burst in the door wearing a yellow t-shirt. Where is this now? Oh Lord, not TikTok. Ara, listen, you know, we'll see. Cornwall, for any PlayStation fans, there is a state of play tomorrow which I think is focusing on Wolverine game. Right. Thank you for the update. Wolverine, you say. 777 is here, good evening. You've been changing stuff in your creative space. Let's not go there. Vespia, good evening. Let me see here now. McManser is here. Jace Ward, good evening. Right? Now Kingsland. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. The Welsh have needed protection. Or wrong. Wait, miners. Wrong miners, Scott. I see what you did though. Miners. Very good. Oh, we're on fire tonight, lads. Where is this now? I heard that Murph will fail the Discord ID guidelines due to his small hands. Jesus. Where is this now? Goblin Zeus, good evening. Tarnish Mossman is in the house. Commander Bolosh, you're very welcome aboard. Neo is here. Vex, good to see you. Doc Nader, welcome in. It's -2 degrees with snow. With Super Typhon, be the Janie. 10 Yard, good evening. Bricky Stew, good evening. Cracker is in the house, welcome aboard. King Ace is here. Shag off Muse. Right. Illicit Major, you're very welcome aboard. Good evening. Sir Campsalot, Madude, hope all is well. You're very welcome aboard. Okay. Good to know you installed Map Enhancement. Sim Heaven also needed for buildings. Yeah, I have Sim Heaven installed as well, Roy. It is looking absolutely gorgeous. I have to say, it's looking gorgeous, right? Now, come on over here. Quick hello and welcome to our friends watching us on YouTube. We have Shoestring Media. Very happy Wednesday. Dave is here. Anna Cross is good to see you. Big Al is there as well. Jim Bridgman. Hello, Jim. Dave Cleary. Legend Dave. Welcome back, Dave. Good to see you. The Boise is here. Haven't watched as much lately, live and such. Love the behind-the-scenes video. Impressive how much effort goes in. I'll be watching more. Well, thank you very much. It's great to see you. And I hope all is well, buddy. Kieran Niall is here. Good to see you, Kieran. Derfras, happy Wednesday. Scorpio K, good evening. Aaron is in the house. Tom, welcome in. Hi from good old Germany. Hi, yes. Guten Abend, my friend. And I hope you're well. That's my German is about as, proficient as my Irish. Or maybe you'd say efficient, 3 weeks later, his beard is finally sharted. Right? Jesus, you noticed. Brilliant. Brilliant. I was waiting for someone, there's been like this private joke going on at home going, I wonder who's going to notice this first. Every day I'm looking in the mirror. Come on, you bastard. Right. And then Muse Fan catches it today. That's only because I told you to focus on my face because I have a friggin' cold sore. Right? But I don't care about these things. We're all right. We're human. These things happen. But yeah, the old facial gruig. Brilliant. Bum fluff. If I go outside in the big wind, it'll just blow off. So we have to be careful, right? But anyway, Bell Bro is here. I thought I would have been in late for the start, but see, I'm 10 minutes early. Brilliant. Face recognition won't work for Murph due to the reflections coming off his head. Wait, what? Shit, right. Bloody hell. Right, anyway, we'll get to it because, it's a busy one tonight, lads. What time is it? Right, it's getting 8. Hang on. Oh, jeez, I can't even reach buttons. Remind me, I need to, set up cameras in a minute. Well, in a few minutes. Right, come on over here, look. Right, you're very welcome to our, I nearly said it. You're very welcome to this space. Tighten that up there now. I need to put some, I do need to tighten that every now and again, But anyway, he's got an entire galleon on his desk, indeed. Mr. Dan, good to see you. 21 minutes. What are you talking about? 2 to 1 minutes. That's what that was. Being creative with the description of beard. Thank you. Wait, what? Jesus. Right, anyway, you shower. Come on over here and I'll show you what we're doing, right? So, I'm currently loaded in at Dublin, and for good reason. I'm going to show you stuff here in a little while, but not just yet. What I do need to do. No, that didn't work. Why is it every time? Elgato, I have a message. Can you fix this thing, please? I need to do one of those. Oh, oh, Jesus, I'm pressing buttons here too fast. Let me see. Go into program files. Wait now. Program files, yes. Elgato, yes. Volume controller, and then these gadgets. Now, this button should turn it all down. It does. Crazy fella is here. Good to see you. There was an Elgato update yesterday. Yeah, we got it. Right, we'll start off with the news. Let me see here now. We haven't many tabs, but ding, there's a bit to go through. Right, there's a bit to go through. So a shout out to Vasco over at MSFSaddons.com. The man is a legend. To Callum and the lads over at FS Elite as well. Great stuff giving us all the news. So we're going to start off Airplane Heaven revealing a free B-25B Doolittle Raider for the upcoming Mitchell package. Ooh. So the wait for Airplane Heaven's B-25 Mitchell appears to be reaching its final stages. After breaking silence last September and following up with progress shots in November, the developer has now shared what looks like one of the final updates before launch. And it's one that adds an important historical value to the package. Airplane Heaven announced that a fully realised B-25B Doolittle Raider variant will be included for free alongside the previously announced J model. Right? Nate, good to see you. Mr. Anderson, good to see you. And Gar Gaming, thank you very much indeed for 8 months, man. Terribly kind. It is indeed a nice bonus from the developer, turning a standard aircraft release into a tribute to one of the most daring operations of the Second World War. And for flight simmers, it means the ability to replicate the Doolittle Raid will now be built directly into the product. So, with the base package, it focuses on the B-25J, the newly released B-25B. It's not just a simple reskin. Airplane Heaven notes the variant features distinct modelling differences, including specific cowls, exhausts, and window arrangements that separate it from the later J model. A couple of pictures here. I've got to say, it looks very pretty. Didn't Jepson make us a B-25? Or didn't he make one at Falcon Field, didn't he? They're beautiful looking plane. Gorgeous. The most interesting detail, buffs, is the cockpit equipment. The developer explains that the famous Norden bomb sight has been removed from this variant true to historical accuracy. During the actual raid, the expensive and classified Norden sights were removed to prevent them from falling into the enemy hands and also to save weight. In their place, the aircraft were fitted with the Mark Twain bomb sight, which was a low-cost tool invented by pilot Charles Ross Greening. The developer has modelled this specific equipment along with a 30 cal Browning machine gun mounted in a cradle on the starboard side of the nose. To match the physical changes, Airplane Heaven states the B-25B will feature a unique flight model. Custom profile accounts for the weight reductions and modifications made to the real aircraft to allow them to launch from the deck of an aircraft carrier. Ooh. Tom says, still waiting for the 2024 update of the Comanche in the marketplace. Ooh. Mick Ham, good evening. So, judging by the promotional material released this week, we reckon the launch is fairly imminent here. A new banner states out soon from the developer. And while the project began during the 2020 era, Airplane Heaven confirmed the aircraft is fully compatible with 2024. So, it's a native 2020 aircraft, but it's supposed to be compatible. With the Doolittle Raider now complete and the marketing pointing to out soon, well, it seems likely we should see this release in a matter of days, if not weeks. But very, very soon. I'm looking forward to it. Airplane Heaven, they've hit a couple of home runs recently, I think especially with the Lancaster. Right, so I'm very much looking forward to trying this. We also know they're actively working on a de Havilland Mosquito, which could be fun as well. So moving on, Kwik Flight. Well, they have released the Striker. It's a combat helicopter for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. So the announcement last week, some of you simply said wrong sim. And while that's not far from the truth, as there are certainly other platforms out there more capable of combat-orientated flight sim, the fact is the launch of Microsoft 2024, or Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, also brought with it a renewed focus on mission-based flying, right? Sumner, good evening. So it's certainly much more civil aviation-oriented, of course. That's what we tend to fly, but there's always room to engage and have a look at some of the military aspects of the aircraft that we get. So this one, a surprise pedigree. The most interesting detail about this, and something we didn't know before, the Striker was actually developed in partnership with Blackbird Simulations, formerly Milviz, right? So we're going to be checking out this aircraft a little bit later on. The context is important for understanding the value proposition. Well, Blackbird is known for high-fidelity military systems and flight dynamics. Quickflight may be attempting to thread a very specific needle, offering a product that is accessible and indeed affordable, but which flies with the authority of a more expensive module. The developers claim the flight model includes a native vortex ring state simulation and a realistic stability augmentation system, which suggests that while the systems might be simplified for quick flight or quick flying, the aerodynamics are likely punchy. So the biggest hurdle for any aircraft in Microsoft Flight Sim is giving the pilot something to actually do. To address this, the Striker relies heavily on the Unibil's INI manager to inject mission capabilities that the base simulator lacks. So we've seen this before with the Hunter, right? The idea being is it can load in mission stuff, assets, and you can go off and start, having a bit of crack with combat, which is pretty cool, right? The price of this aircraft is £19.99. It's about $25 US. And it's available right now over on the INI Bill's website. We're going to check it out tonight. Just get a sense of, what's it all about. And it's pretty cool. Northland Air, good evening. Kubi, cheers, buddy. Now, PMDG, yes, we saw that they released the 737-900 and Oz Flight Simmer, I think, was flying the 600 earlier on, which is a good sign to show, well, that should be coming out very soon if they have it in the hands of some content creators. So anyway, looking forward to the 737-6 while it's on the way. Did anyone catch the update price? Where's this now? They're offering a 60% discount if you had the 737-9, right? So 60%, can we do the maths there? 60% off the original one, which is going to be roughly 20 quid. About 20 quid, roughly, right? CP says too much. Arvat is here, 24 months. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. So, I'm unsure where the Dash 600 is going to lie. They'll continue on with this 60% discount, right? Again, there's a lot of kind of chatting about PMDG and their company policies and all this sort of jazz, right? But at the end of the day, for those who fly the aircraft, I think they're happy with it. I've yet to talk to anyone who purchased the updated Dash 800 to say, no, it's crap, I regret it. I've yet to find anyone who said that. And okay, right, if you bought the aircraft back in 2020 and you flew it quite a bit and they are looking for an upgrade path of, 30 quid for 2024, I'm not saying it's okay. It's a pain in the ass that's what they do, but it is what they do, right? It is what they do. But I think, I think for anyone who enjoys flying these aircraft, yes, it's a hard kind of pill to swallow to say there's an upgrade path. I have to pay an extra 30 quid to keep flying this in 2024 standards. It's kind of odd. Like, should it have been the case that PMDG gave us a compatible mod that would make your 2020 version work and then redeveloped the 2024 native version with so many bells and whistles, you would absolutely be compelled to spend that money for the upgrade. But that's why I'm not in charge, lads, right? I'd put the business out of business, right? But anyway, just got the upgrade for the 900. No worry to pay for it, though. Yeah. What's a good helo to start with, says Rick20. The base one, does a really good one in the sim, a default one. What's it called? I forget the name. The name is off the top of my head. The Cabri, I think it's called. But the 600 should be soon. So the Dash 700, I think is that's not scheduled now for another few weeks. But look at lads, we can complain, we can moan, whatever we're going to do, it's going to have very little impact here. And I've been really enjoying flying the 737-8 in 2024. I paid for the upgrade. Would I rather I didn't have to pay for the upgrade? Yeah, of course I would. But they run a business, right? That's just what they have. And we've no one else really we can knock on the door and say, hey, give us a 737-800. The iFly Max is excellent. Looking forward to that update, right? But anyway, what can you do? Moving on. This is interesting. Captain Sim. Dun, dun, dun. They've released the AC130J, the Ghost Rider, for Microsoft Flight Sim. However, they released it with the wrong cockpit. Or did they? Captain Sim have released the AC130J Ghost Rider, basically the gunship version of the C130. However, the release comes with an infamous caveat for those seeking technical accuracy. Janie, Mac, there's things happening. Tanker Man, thank you very much indeed for 5 months. Cheers, buddy. Incredible support. Cheers, man. So the modern J cockpit of the C130, there's a lot of glass in it, right? And the C130 that Captain Sim brought out before, well, the first one had no cockpit, right? The second one had actually a fairly detailed cockpit, and it worked, and it was actually very, very good. And now with the updated or new product, they're just using the same cockpit. It's modified, right? But it's pretty much the same machine, right? The Boise, thank you very much indeed. Co-pilot over on YouTube. Cheers, buddy. Very kind of you, sir. So yeah, I don't know. Is this going to make a huge deal to folks? I mean, if you're going to be buying a Captain Sim aircraft, you're not exactly in the queue for, receive the most study level, in-depth, high-fidelity system simulation of an aircraft in all the world possible, please. You're probably in the other queue, right? So I don't think there's any kind of shock here. At least that's my take on it. I will say this, the Captain Sim C130 is actually a decent aircraft. People they see the name Captain Sim and they're just like, no, it's crap, it's all terrible. Pull up the handbrake. If you've flown it, if you've seen it, it's actually pretty good, right? It's better than others. And if you did want to have that kind of feeling of you're flying in a C-130, yeah, I think they actually did all right. With the C-130J, the Ghost Rider variant, which has, of course, the 105 and the Beaufort and all this stuff, and a 20mm cannon out the side of it, which don't work, by the way. Well, yeah, it looks the part, right? And, well, they are giving you a cockpit, right? It's just the older version cockpit. So it is what it is. An advanced simulation of the classic C-130 system, right? So it's basically a port. However, for $14.99, the trade-off is clear. Simmers are paying for a high-quality external model and the specific gunship silhouette while accepting a cockpit that is historically and technically inaccurate for this specific aircraft. Despite that, the exterior works remains the primary selling point. Up to 8K textures and also several animations that characterize the Captain Sim philosophy. So it's available for 2020 and we're expecting release for 2024 in the coming weeks, right? So, yeah. As I said, their C-130 is not bad. I've had fun flying it. Genuine fun and enjoyment flying that aircraft. Is it, at the pinnacle of study level or, intense immersion? Well, not even immersion. It can be quite immersive. High fidelity? Probably not. Probably not. But it's not bad. I wouldn't throw it under the bus, FS Labs news, they have released the Pratt & Whitney engines update after a lot of feedback from the community or, well, a bit of drama. So the silence has broken hours after MSFS add-ons reported on the growing dissatisfaction regarding Flight Sim Labs because they said, listen, you're going to get an upgrade straight away after Christmas, and it never happened. Then people kind of went, where's my update, lads? You said you were going to do this, and there was radio silence. And then out of nowhere, once people started saying, hey, hello, what's going on? They released it. So they've released the update via its experimental channel. Now, I have seen Chewy fly this. I've seen Kenko fly this. I think Jamie flew it as well. And I think so far the feedback has been quite good. With the new engines, they've also gone and, there's a full overhaul when it comes to the engine because it's FADEC, right? They've also put in a couple of different sounds and fixes across the aircraft as well. They've updated the flight management system and other bits and bobs. So it's a fairly decent update. It's the one that, people wanted earlier, right? But it's available there now as an experimental one. And I don't know, lads, anyone here flying the FS Labs A321? I have the original one. I didn't go for the Neo variant. I thought it was a very good aircraft. I don't particularly like the A321 because I've flown in them and they are the most uncomfortable in cattle class, right? They'll officially make your arse numb, but that's not to take away from the real world aircraft, I've heard great things about it. When I flew it, I thought it was very, very good. They have very, very close competition with Phoenix. Very close. But there's certain things the FS Labs wouldn't do. I remember when I previewed it, you know, I was blown away. Like, it had snow accumulation on the wings, this kind of stuff, right? The systems just felt a little bit more complete, right? So yeah, that was the idea. Heavy Hauler, good to see you. The beta is out soon for Update 5. Yes, Sim Update 5, they're working on a new upcoming beta. We'll cover that now in a moment. But for FS Lab pilots, there's an update there. What were we doing over here? That's just an extra tab. Look at that. Puerto Rico has launched a major Caribbean hub, San Juan, for Microsoft Flight Sim. We're going to be checking this one out tonight via Orbx. And the corridor between the US and the Caribbean, San Juan is a critical waypoint. More than just a holiday destination, since it acts as a primary gateway for the entire region. With that in mind, Puerto Rico Scenery have released a new rendition of Luis Muñoz Marín International Airport via Orbx. We're going to be checking out this scenery tonight. It's one of the few airports in the region that you'll see heavy cargo hauliers, military sorties and scheduled airline services sharing the same airspace with general aviation. Ooh. Puerto Rico Scenery claims that they focused heavily on those operational aspects, and the developer claims that the terminal areas and GA ramps follow real-world layouts to ensure that AI traffic flows logically. This is a crucial detail for those of us who use certain traffic injectors, as incorrect parking codes can often break the immersion. So we're going to be checking this one out live tonight, just to give you kind of a show around the airport. But I fired it up earlier on for a quick look. I was well impressed with it, you know. It's available exclusively through Orbx, and there's two variants of it. You can get it for 24 or 2020, and the price of this ticket is 38.92 Australian. So you're in around the kind of €22 neck of the woods, right? So here's a free add-on. MetArt, it's called. For many virtual pilots, the pre-flight phase is a ritual. You generate the flight plan, check the load sheet, and then comes the weather briefing. While veteran simmers can read a raw METAR string like second language, plenty still find deciphering a METAR or the ATIS information a little bit daunting. There's a new freeware utility called MetArt, just released with the help to help with this difficulty. Developed by Matteo, who describes it as a passion project, the tool acts as a dedicated aviation companion for Flight Sim 2020 and 2024. It aims to take away the mental math out of runway selection and weather interpretation. While full electronic flight bags often include weather data, SayIntentions have it as well, you can do a lookup. Well, this one strips away the complexity to focus solely on the atmospheric conditions. The developers say the goal is to offer a helpful tool that makes briefing faster and flying smarter. The application integrates directly with SimBrief. You link your account, MetArt pulls your current operational flight plan, including your departure, arrival, and alternate airports. More importantly, it translates them. The app takes the raw METAR and TAF data and decides or decodes it into a simple step-by-step plain English summary. But they also give you a visualization. So it's more than just decoding a METAR, which our own Discord can do. Our website can do that, right? But it'll actually give you a visual graphic showing you the layout of the runway and the direction in which the wind is coming from. Nice. Flow has this as well. This is built into Flow, right? But it's a freeware tool. I thought I'd mention it. You can visualize the crosswind on it as well. And it's currently in active development. This is the start of the project. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Because it's worth noting it's a standalone external application, not in-game. This places it in the category of second monitor utilities, but interesting enough to find it. I'll give you the link there if you're interested, just to have an look at it, like, you know. So we'll horse that into the chat, and if you're interested in it, take a look. Lear is here, good evening. So Sim Update 5 beta due to start this month. Been over a year since the turbulent launch of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, and if you look at the simulator today compared to last year, well, the difference is very much night and day. The critical stability patches of 2025 did their job well. The sim runs much better, there are fewer critical bugs, and frame rates have finally smoothed out for most hardware configurations. Now, is it perfect? No. Are there still bugs? Yeah. But compared to where it was on release versus this has to be said, and I don't think enough people kind of like, the reality is this, lads. What got released last November was painful, right? There was great plans, great ideas. What I saw in Arizona with other content creators, we were blown away by, holy crap, this is mad, lads. You're going to get this working, right? It didn't happen at release. But in the space of, I'd say, under a year, right? Under a year, they completely transformed I'd say about 90% of all the issues. And I think we can all agree now there's more and more pilots using 2024 because it's now becoming that more stable, right? So what are they going to be doing with Sim Update 5? Well, the conversation around the community, well, they reckon it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be bug fixes, enhancements, making things more efficient, but perhaps this might just open the door to some new features. Now, I always wonder and worry when we talk about new features, because new features, historically, to any flight sim, be it with Microsoft Flight Simulator or indeed be it with X-Plane, new features have that real threat of destabilizing the simulator platform. It part and parcel, right? You want this fancy stuff, grand, but it's going to break this. It's just the way it works. There is no perfect alternative, right? However, I'd be very interested to see what further enhancements can be done. Bug fixes, we know the bugs, right? We know where multiplayer is at. We know the bugs. We know these CTDs, graphics card encountering problems. You know, there's still issues with WebAssembly, wasm crashes, right? So they're the things we want to see ticked and like put to bed. That's it, they're done, right? But there's other things then as well, you know? The day we can finally shut up about model matching will be a glorious one. Yeah, but as soon as we get there, we'll start complaining about, you know, that's the wrong animal. There should be a cow in the field. That's clearly a bison, right? Part of the bovine family. No, it should be a cow, right? That's where it'll get to, you know. So, Mr. Pauly, good evening. So thank you, Briggsy. A very creative day, yeah. When I was a dispatcher for BMI, I had to pass a course on how to read the weather, says Cornwolf. No way, man. They do a beta, but then the alpha and gold still have issues. It depends. There are certain things that are fixed in the beta when they do, right, we fix this, now move on, and then they might add something else in. And like, it could be like the simplest line of code, and it could, like, you know, ruin half the parish. Like, that's what happens. You know what I mean? You're happy to complain about the cows if there isn't an airliner hovering over your head, right? You know? It's good now, but I'm sick of them using me as a guinea pig and test. That's the nature of modern flight sims and games, I suppose. You know, ask Raoul about breaking things. Yeah. Like, when you, like 60 or 70,000 lines of code into one system, you get something wrong, you can't see it. Your hardware can't detect it. You give it to someone else, yeah, it's fine with them. You give it to someone else, boom, this doesn't work, it's broken. This thing is crap. Like, where do you go? Do you know what I mean? So, anyway, interesting anyway. I'm looking forward to getting some news on this regarding the Sim update. Again, like, my wild ideas would be, right, lads, you now have a beta channel. Have two betas. Have the stable beta where you're monitoring and patching things as you go along, and then have the experimental beta, you know, where you can really throw all sorts of stuff. Do you like that? No, okay, turn that off. Do you know what I mean? But again, what goes on in my crazy head is, like, you know, get you in trouble. Moving on, we checked this aircraft out yesterday. Just Flight's PA28 Archer, the TX. We flew this over an X-Plane yesterday. Had a really nice flight there. But just to let you know, it has been released. Just Flight, in partnership with Thranted Design, have released the Piper Archer TX. I've asked Just Flight, which is not just bring this to Microsoft Flight Sim as well, you know. And absolutely gorgeous, right? Here, I'm going to ramble now, but I need to show you. I need to show you some stuff, because I was very impressed seeing this stuff earlier, right? It's going to bore you because it's X-Plane, but just bear with me, right? I was taking a couple of screenshots in the Owl X-Plane earlier on, right? And that a new jet. I mean, that's pretty impressive looking. I don't like it. That's just impressive looking, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous town. Gorgeous, lads. Look at the sky colours and the clouds and all this, right? But yeah, we're talking X-Plane again, but it's getting to the stage now, like, okay, you have to tinker with it, you know, and say about 6 Hail Marys, but like, it's getting there, isn't it? These are unedited photos. These are screenshots. You can see it. They are screenshots, right? So hopefully we can get a bit of inspiration from the world of X-Plane, and maybe this is stuff that Microsoft could look at. In particular, I think, and you'd all agree, the biggest thing that X-Plane seems to be doing quite well is their lighting and clouds. It would be great to see if Microsoft can give us a little bit of a push on the clouds in the sim, because visually Microsoft Flight Sim is already stunning, but when you're seeing this, you're like, ooh, Jay, ooh, that looks, see the way that the scattering of lighting, right? So maybe there's something there that'll be available in Microsoft Flight Sim. Who knows, lads? Who knows? But like, look at the way the light's scattering on the ground. Do you know what I mean? I think that's excellent. That's not an edited photo, lads. That is a screenshot. It's just, you know, Janie. But anyway, I digress. So that aircraft is now out over an X-Plane. 25% discount if you had the Archer TX in X-Plane 11, or indeed you have the standard Archer in X-Plane 12. There is an update. There is a purchase plan there to give you a discount. So yeah, you can grab that over from Just Flight. Now, lads, moving on. SayIntentions. Couple of things we're going to be talking about SayIntentions here, because we know they're working on features, and there's something very exciting they're working on at this very moment in time, right? But a couple of updates, and I think Cyrus T would be delighted about this. I've asked a couple of times, and I think other people have asked, and now SayIntentions are like, right, go on. So they have introduced a click-to-talk for mic-free ATC, right? Now, basically what this means is, when I launch SayIntentions, fire there now for effect. Basically what this is, Cyrus many months ago was saying, Murph, you know, I'd love to have like a menu in which I can just click and it'll tell me what to say and how to say it. But they've gone off and they've implemented it, right? So I'll show you this. Let's have a look. So you can see here on the app, see this before takeoff, read back or request IF4 clearance. So you can now click buttons and this will progress your flight just by clicking buttons. If you didn't want to be talking on the mic, hello, breaker, can you hear me? Right? It's click to talk, not click to think. Yeah. But you get the idea, right? So, you know, his ball spot, is it Murph? No, it's not me. Go away, idle cut off. That's just a random AI pilot. Jean-Luc Picard. But this is one of these quality of life features that they have been asked for, and now they've been baked in into SayIntentions. So anyone who may have been on the fence, right, saying, do you know, not every flight I want to be talking, I don't want to set up my microphone, or, you know, I don't want to be loud, I just want a quiet session. There's your answer right now. They've gone ahead and they've done it, right? They've done it. So that's the first thing, which is pretty cool, right? So it's a way to kind of think about the learning element on this. You can kind of now use SayIntentions to actually guide you on what to say. You might have, okay, mic fright is a thing. If you're talking to ATC, be it on VATSIM, Pilot Edge, even in the real world, it's like, we panic a little bit because we don't know what to say. With this new feature from SayIntentions, this is not only going to make it handier for what we've already discussed, as in keep the L noise levels down, but if you weren't sure on what to say, by clicking this, you're now building up your own experience, saying, well, this is how they ask for it, so now you can attempt it. That makes sense? So that they've already done that, which is absolutely brilliant, right? So the headline feature, of course, click to talk. The big shift is in accessibility for the service. Previously, users had to be comfortable speaking to AI. Now the software presents context-aware responses, right? The pilot clicks the desired response system and then handles the transmission. Tom says, but isn't that the way ATC is working in Microsoft Flight Sim natively? Yeah, but their ATC is absolute rubbish. Like, it's do you know what I mean? This is like better, you know, and it's way more powerful, you know. It's actually a nice addition. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. This sounds great. Can you ask Brian if he can make it work for me when I need to ask for a pay rise, right? Developer Frames is not just a convenience feature for late night flying, but also a training tool. By seeing correct phraseology written out before transmitting, newer pilots can learn the rhythm of radio communications without the pressure of a live mic. And the reality is this: yes, for IF4 flying, there is pretty much a bit of a script you would follow because you get used to that line of communication, right? But for VF4 flying, well, there's no script. Yes, there's a structure, right? But there's no real script. So this helps. Now, the next thing we're going to chat about, and this is very exciting because this is Traffic Plus. Now you might say, what's Traffic Plus? The likes of FSLTL and other traffic injectors rely heavily on the real-world ADSB data. Schedules, historical chart, like that's how they get their information, and then they can code it, and then they inject the same into the sim. Right. They all suffer from the same limitation. If the real-world transponder isn't on, well, the sim sky is empty. This is particularly noticeable in regions like parts of South America or indeed Africa, where tracking coverage is spotty. But not only that. Let's say, for example, you want to do a flight at 3 o'clock in the morning at an airport. Well, depending on the schedules from said airport, there could be nothing going on there, right? Because again, it's using the real-world ADSB and the schedule and all this sort of jazz. Well, this is where SayIntentions' upcoming product or feature, right, Traffic Plus, has been brought in to address all of this. So according to SayIntentions, the system acts as a hybrid layer. It can run exclusively with synthetic traffic, or indeed, more interesting, layer itself on top of the real-world traffic to fill in the gaps. The idea targets a specific immersion breaker, when users flying into major hubs might see bustling traffic only to find themselves in a ghost town once they cross into regions with poor real-world data coverage. The developer claims the system will respect airline routes and the aircraft types, ensuring that the synthetic traffic remains believable. They've also introduced a 6-month subscription plan. We only kind of found that one out last week when we were like, hey, you actually have options to, you don't have to buy the full year, right? So there's this Traffic Plus. We're going to have a look at this now in a moment, right? So what we have, it's a new slider. Now, it's not released yet, so just bear this in mind. And how it works to SayIntentions, lads, SayIntentions, when they've built something, they release it to their partners first. Anyone can be a partner, right? They release it to their partners first. And basically, it's like the in-house kind of, we'll test the thing. Right, the partners will give them the feedback to say this worked, didn't like that, this worked, change that, do less of this. And then when it's all kind of ready to rock, then they'll say, right, we're good to go, release it. And that's what they do, right? So it's a new slider in your traffic settings that allows you to increase the amount of injected traffic above and beyond the normal real-world gate scheduling data that would normally be available. In other words, if you ever said, I really want to fly out of my favourite airport, but at 2 a.m, but I want to see lots of traffic, like it was 9 o'clock in the morning. Even if it's not realistic, you just want to see all the traffic, right? Well, then this feature is what you're looking for, right? So that's what we're going to have a gawk at now. So to give you an idea, right? On the SayIntentions tracker on the website, just to show you, right? So this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. Let me see. If we just look at Skynet or look at all flights. This is a live map with SayIntentions, and all the yellow aircraft are human pilots, the humans. These are human pilots, right? And they're all flying around, be it with group flights, they're in airliners, general aviation, there's helicopters up there as well. Look, there's a chopper going out the coast, right? So these are all live players, and it's just a map to say, well, this is where we have everyone. In addition to all the live players, they also have AI traffic, and that's these magenta purpley colours, right? And there's over 5,000 of these aircraft rocking around the place. Real world pilots, there's 533 active flights right now. There are 10 times of that when it comes to AI. And the AI, it's using their traffic injection, which is based on real world ADSB information. All the data from the previous 12 months, like they have all that information. It's accurate data. However, if we were to go in there now and say, right, well, Dublin, during live time, there's an absolute plethora of stuff here in Dublin, right? This is all the AI traffic of what's happening. So what we're going to do, friends, we're going to go into Dublin, which we are, right? We have SayIntentions up and running. And what I'm going to do in the settings, Dublin Airport, it's all quiet. There's not a sinner here. It's all, there's nothing happening. I'm going to turn on the traffic injection inside of SayIntentions. So real world commercial traffic, I'm going to bring that up to 11. And we'll throw in some GA traffic in here as well. I'm going to change the time of day to about, like, you know, 2 o'clock-ish in the morning, and let's just wait for a while and see what happens. And the idea being here then, once the traffic kind of loads in, it takes a minute or two. Once the traffic loads in, you'll see movements. You'll actually hear them yapping away on the radios. They'll be pushing back, takeoff, landing, overflying. It's traffic injection just on a whoa scale. It really is, right? But with the new feature, this Traffic Plus, this is going to fill in the gaps whereby, okay, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Dublin. You're not going to have that many departures, right? They do say to switch off traffic in sim as well. Yeah, everything's off. Everything's off. Right? How much more GPU is it using? It does use it, but it doesn't use much of it. Most of the heavy lifting is done on their side. If you're going to be running, you know, traffic at like 11, right, you're going to see the impact. But if, you know, if it's running, if you keep it off like 5 or 6, now on my specs, I run this thing on 11, you know. I was in Dublin today, a horrible experience. Back to the safe open fields of the West. Now, come on yourself, epic fool. Good to see you, bud. So we're just going to wait for traffic injection to load in. As I said, it takes a minute or two. And then with an upcoming slider, and I'll show you what it looks like here now. It's currently in the development branch. But what this is going to do, as I said, it'll fill in the gaps. So for sat in Dublin, and you might, you know, this time of day, you mightn't have many. There's a traffic horsing in there now, right? And, you know, they may not be pushing back and starting to go flying. But it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Not many flights go in and out of Dublin at that time of night because, well, residents complain and give out, right? So this is with traffic pumped up to 11, by the way, right? And it's accurate, and this is where Taxi Tuner is worth its weight in gold, because you can actually go in and edit any airport. You can edit it and say, hey, this is where this aircraft should be. This is where, you know, this company of aircraft should be, and so on and so forth. So we can see that we have the Ryanair stands. There's a BA there with lights on. We have Terminal 1 departures. Well, that's Terminal 2. Terminal 1 departures and then Terminal 2 departures, which tend to be all the Shamrock, and then we'll have a few of the American lads blasting off out of this concourse as well. Usually United, Delta have a couple of flights here as well. So if we notice, she's kind of quiet. I'm going to now put on this Traffic Density Plus slider. Now, bearing in mind, this hasn't even released yet, so if my sim explodes, you know, send reinforcements, you know, and a clean pair of pants. But I've just now turned that on, so let's just see what this is going to do with the Traffic Plus density. So it's a slider in which then you can control to say, well, there's a bit of activity but not enough. Give me +2, and that'll add in X amount of aircraft that are going to be now operating within this area as well. So as you can see, the airport it's very quiet, isn't it? Not much going on. But once Traffic Plus kicks over, I'm expecting to see, well, more activity, right? So we should see more aircraft lights line up, and we should start seeing movements. Pushback, aircraft starting to, you know what I mean? So we'll give this a moment to see what happens. The first flight is 3:50 in the morning from the US. Wow. Check the ramp over by the fire station. Yeah, so if these are wrong, now it depends, right? You could get Aer Lingus or Ryanair aircraft parked there. Before, they used to throw them at the bottom of the taxiway down here, right? But they can't do that now because you have the new runway. So I know they use it for overflow parking, aircraft coming in and out of maintenance and so on. But yeah, you can go in and edit all of that. You know what I mean? Now it might take a moment or two to come alive. But basically what we have, when real world gate schedules data isn't enough and you want even more, crank this up and they'll add synthetic traffic that still uses the realistic aircraft types, airlines, routes, and the specific areas. So we'll give it a few moments. Is it under traffic injection, or is there a Traffic Plus setting? Gibbo, there's going to be a Traffic Plus setting. It's not released yet. It's on the developers branch. But so basically, were you in your setting? I'll show you. Where you'll have your settings, I imagine I can show this. Where you have your settings, you'll have your normal real world commercial GA, and then you'll have your traffic density slider, which is just here. It's a new one. It's a brand new one, right? And that's now cranked up to the masses. It may or may not work. I hope it works. I'm seeing beacon lights on more aircraft now. Okay, there's Beechcraft at the gates. They shouldn't be there, but again, that's where Taxi Tuner comes in. Right? NDA breach. No, we're okay. We got the green light to talk about it. Are they all in service, Murph? Says Vulcan. As in the aircraft? They will be. That's the point, you know? Can I summarize what Traffic Plus is? Yes. Traffic Plus, basically, what it's going to do, if you're flying in regions because of real world data such as ADSB, that's where like your flight radar or Flight 24, right? That's where they get the real world aircraft information that are flying with routes and all this sort of jazz. If that data isn't available for whatever reason, well, usually your traffic injector programs suffer because, well, if there's no data, well, they can't put anything into your sim. They just don't have the data, right? Or in fact, if you're at an airport, as we are here in Dublin, you know, set at 3 o'clock in the morning and not much happens. By using this technology, you can then say, listen, I want you to inject additional traffic that doesn't really care about the time of the day. This is just going to go off, start flying because, well, it's AI. It's saying, well, this is the aircraft, this is the route it flies. We're just going to go at this time because the user wants us to go ahead and use it. Do you know what I mean? That's the idea behind it. Now, bearing in mind, it's not released yet. It doesn't seem to be much happening, does it? Interesting. I wonder if I turn it down some of the way. We'll bring it down a smidgen to see what happens. If it doesn't work, you'll see it in a few days. If you're tuned to ground and tower, you'll hear the call-outs. Yeah. Like, there'll be a lot of clearances and whatnot coming in, you know what I mean? I dialed it back a small bit, so we'll see what happens. But the idea, you know, I wanted to mainly talk to you about the idea of what this can do. You know what I mean? Where's the best place to get Dublin? Right, there's sounds coming on now. And there's aircraft starting to change around. So there's a Lufty there. There's an Air France there. Lights coming on. The BA was already there. There's someone over here now at the ramp, right? And you can see the Aer Lingus fellas now have lights coming on. And there's another one there. Now, at this time in which I'm setting the sim, there shouldn't be there'd be no movements here. Nothing, nada, zilch, nothing, right? And again, we can test this by jumping on and can I turn on the radios in this thing? We need to put power in this. Wrong button, Murph. Battery. Battery. Alright, let's see if we can get some radio call-outs here. If we go to Dublin ground, I suppose. AI tower paused due to aircraft not moving. Well, that should unpause itself here now in a moment. Right, up the hill. But hopefully you get the idea. Probably takes a few minutes to fire in, you know what I mean? Is it nailing your sim parts? Wait, is it nailing your sim parts or proper lag? No, there's no lag. There's zero lag. Hang on there now. We'll talk to the lads. Let's see what they say. Like, there is movements. 100% there's now aircraft movements where there wasn't. Right? Yeah, so with SayIntentions, you can use different models. Don't use different injectors, use different models. There's aircraft coming in now, look. So it is slowly but surely coming alive. Right? There's one approaching as well. And again, this is to replicate movements at an airport that shouldn't have movements at this time of the day, because again, SayIntentions is basing this on real world data. It's ADSB data, and they get it from like Flight Radar or what is it, Flight 24, or you know what I mean? What's your resource use on it? Looks very GPU RAM heavy. Mr. Dan, what are you talking about? Is it the stream? You lose some fidelity, but you can get back your frames from doing 100 plus fly-alongs with Murph, right? ADSB exchange, I think that's one of their data points, I think. Mr. Dam, are you saying like the quality is bad? You now have 50 aircraft that were not there. Yeah, what are you asking though? Is there an impact to that? No. I don't see an impact. Frame rate? I mean, I'm using frame gen. Where's my frame J? Or how do I get that gadget? Over here. Oh, that's night vision, you muppet. Where's the button I use for... Ah, it's over here. I'm gonna like 120 frames, but like it's frame gen. Impact, yeah. No, very... Like, you will see an impact if you crank everything up to 11, but it depends on your system. Right? So you can see there's aircraft movements now. And they shouldn't be there. Because like it's at this time, well, there's nothing going on in Dublin. Do you get the idea? So early days yet, and it's not released yet. Like it's not even available to partners yet. This is just like, yeah, turn it on. You know what I mean? Just gonna ask, will it flatten your PC? Yeah, like having it turned on to 11 is like that's overkill. You know, 5 is enough, I think. You know? You have FSLTL, AIG, FS Traffic, and IVAO stuff installed, which brings a total around 16,000 liveries. Jesus. Yeah, the 104 from New York should be the first flight in. Yeah. But you get the idea, right? It injects, you know, Traffic Plus injects additional traffic to fill the gaps. There's an aircraft taking off. There's one blasting off over there, overflying. Or is it a star? That could be a very bright looking star. But you know what I mean? So any questions, lads? Any questions? Working now. They're hoping to release this soon. And once they do release it, you'll know what the crack is then, you know? Be interesting if a person with lower GPS like 30 or 40 series. Well, if we were to look at it, right? Hang on. Now, you're only going to get so far with Windows. CPU 51, memory, and GPU 67. That's with SayIntentions traffic injection on, right? If we turn off the gadget, they'll all disappear. Let everything stabilize. Like it ain't showing me huge impacts. You know what I mean? Like you would see erratic up and down, up and down. You will get peaks and troughs when you activate it, when you turn it on, right? But you know, when you're running it and it's doing its thing, it's absolutely fine. You know, you just don't see it. Again, with the settings that I'm using, let's say intentions fire up, I have my options. So if we turn everything 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, right? And as I said, it'll take a minute or two just to load up everything, right? So it's all connected here. We're just waiting for SayIntentions now to inject all the traffic. You'll see a peak. You'll see the CPU will definitely spark. The GPU, probably a little bit, not much, right? Let's give it a moment though. And once we see aircraft coming in, you'll see what the impact is. But it's, for me, it's very little. I've gone and turned SayIn traffic back up to 10 on your 3060. It doesn't really impact performance. Yeah. Like, the good news about their traffic injection, a lot of it is done server side. You know what I mean? Which is just great. It's fantastic. Because, like, you're not worried about, I can only have 2 planes flying around because my CPU will die. Like, that just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So GPU is spooling up. They're up around 70%. CPU is still hovering on around 50. So GPU is doing a bit of work now. I imagine that's now starting to get instructions, start drawing models. Right? So now, you want your GPU high anyway. 78%. All the traffic is now in. That GPU will stabilize. CPU is still sitting at around 50. And then she'll calm down. Right? You can see where the activity is. See where it's peaks and troughs. GPU went from kind of quiet to woof. Like it's... There's just not much. Frame rate, or it's still smooth, right? I'm still getting me 120 frames. Now, frame gen is a huge help to all of this, but, you know. And there's more aircraft horsed in. So that was a BA that was parked there. It's been replaced now by a King Air. But again, look, we still have all the Aer Lingus down this side. And we've all the Ryanairs over this side. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. FPS is very good, yeah. It's deadly. Right, so that's a feature on the way, as I said, from SayIntentions. Pretty cool, lads. Right, because the idea being here is, if you want to go flying in regions, you know, that the most important one is there is no real-world ADS-B data there, meaning that regardless of any traffic injector, you're just not going to have the traffic. You're just not going to have the traffic. Like, there's nothing there for it. It'll try and throw in a bit, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. SayIntentions will actually follow the real-world flights that are scheduled and on radar and all this kind of stuff. It'll try in one or two of their own as well. And you know, there's limitations to what the software can do. For example, it'll say, right, there's a flight going from this airport to that airport. This should be its routing. But because it does its own routing, well, it might change it a little bit. So the idea being, you know, if you bring up, you know, live traffic or flight radar, that airplane should be there in the sky. What's unlikely is going to be there in the sky when you boot in the sim, right? But it should be at the terminal. It's at that gate or it's at that gate. That they know where that is. You know? Pretty cool. It's very good. Very good. So Traffic Plus, they're hoping to get it out to their partners. They're aiming for Friday, maybe sooner. And then after that, it'll be just pushed out. They'll see what happens. They're adding additional traffic to the infrastructure. So they haven't done that before. They follow the real world stuff. Commercial and general aviation, and they know how that works because it communicates. It's using their servers, using their systems, using their voices. This could potentially increase it tenfold, so that they're going to suss it out. Let's have a look at this and let's see what it all does. All right, so any questions? No? Brilliant. Right, now what we doing? We'll go back here to actually we'll make it daytime. It's always nice to look at daytime weather. There we go. And now lads, what we're going to do, we're going to be having an old chat with Evan, so we will. So we'll turn that down. Shout out to SayIntentions as well. Like, the amount of updates they're doing, isn't it absolutely incredible, isn't it? Like, I think it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, that's the SayIntentions stuff. We should close that. And that looks good to me. Right, now, let's see. We press the buttons over here. Where's the button now? I'll start off by saying howdy, right? Do I need to have FSLTL? So you need to have some sort of traffic models. Otherwise, it'll use the base Microsoft Flight Sim ones. But don't use another injector. Texas, Calva, good to see you. Hope you're well. Long time listener, first time caller. You're very welcome in. Good to see you, man. But yeah, so that was Traffic Plus. Right, Traffic Plus. Lads, if I missed anyone in the chat, terribly sorry. Hello, and hope everyone is keeping well. I tend to get distracted. Now, for our next thing, we're going to be chatting to Evan. Right, so hopefully this is going to work. So if I press this button, this could work now, you know.
1850 715 815. Hello, good afternoon. You're very welcome to Murfline.
Right, so tonight, friends, on the Murph line, we're going to be chatting to Evan. And I'm going to press some buttons. Where's the button? Why can't I ring him?
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Here's the button. We're pressing buttons here now. It's going to be great crack. Hello?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm not so bad. Right, everyone's connected. Have you, do you want to share a face cam? Are you okay without the face cam?
I can, let's see if it works. How about now? Did that work?
Look at that. Right? Oh, that's a real case of, yeah, this old thing? Yeah. Hang on, we'll press the buttons. Hopefully it works. Right, there's the first part. Stand by now. Your voice is coming across, which is great. I just need to press some buttons here. So.
Perfect.
Let's see here now. Do one of those. And then if I do one of those. Sure, would you look? You swear I planned it earlier. Evan, a very good evening and welcome. It's good to talk to you, pal. How are things?
Thank you. Yes, you as well. Things are good. It's been a busy beginning to the year, I guess, as it always is, but looking forward to continuing the process forward and building out a great show once again.
Absolutely. And it's gas, right? I mean, it's every time, you know, I've been so lucky to go to a number of Flight Sim Expos now. And I'm at the stage where I'm saying, I have to wait a whole year for this. And then you kind of realize it's pretty much there again. Do you know?
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, a year goes by really, really fast, it turns out.
It's unbelievable. So, before we get into Flight Sim Expo, which is, it's literally around the corner, right? We're only a couple of months away. I just thought it'd be a good, opportunity for folks to learn a little bit more about you. I mean, you do a lot with and for the flight sim community across a lot of different areas. I mean, there's the flying element, there's the ATC side of it, there's community, then we have the Flight Sim Association, and of course, then you have, Flight Sim Expo. Like, where did all this start? How did you fall into this?
That's like I ask myself that every day. No, I mean it's really just a story. I think like a lot of people in the flight sim community of just like I started doing this and it was fun and it was a hobby and then it became a little bit of a training aid and then it became a way to get into the career. And now it's like, okay, how do we kind of just do the things that we like to do in a way that's helpful to the community, that gives back to people, and that helps that kind of next generation of flight simmer discover the hobby, discover the passion, discover the training aid, whatever it may be for you. So that's how we started doing it. And it was a matter of just like, okay, this like ATC thing and FSX multiplayer back when I started. Well, that looks kind of cool. Let me get into that. And then it was like, well, this VATSIM thing, that looks kind of cool. Let me get into that. And it just kind of evolved over time from there. And obviously the show and then Flight Sim Association, it just was people asking us for things or suggesting ideas and us trying to respond to those suggestions from the community in a meaningful way.
Awesome, and of course, real world flying as well. I mean, you're one to frequent that of a real airplane. So if anyone tries to go up to you and say, you're doing it wrong, well, you kind of have that experience as well, right?
And I have had that experience actually. One of the best pieces of feedback I've ever gotten as a VATSIM controller was somebody didn't like the way that I had sequenced them in line for the runway. They thought that I should have put them in front of the other airplane. And so the feedback was like, this controller only has 30 hours of flying on VATSIM, so they don't understand how flying works. And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
a lot of excitement for the events, and with the community growing the way it has. I mean, did you expect the same sort of growth? Our hobby, I still refer to it as our little hobby, but like, did you, could you foresee this sort of growth over the last 5 or 6 years?
I don't think any of us could. I mean, I remember, was it in one of the shows we were on? I think it was the Orlando show when we were, so this was 2019, and we were all kind of like, okay, well, we don't know where P3D is going. There's no news from Microsoft whatsoever. X-Plane had only been on X-Plane 11. Like, people were just like, is there going to be another flight simulator in 5 years? And then on the Sunday of that show, all of a sudden, here's this trailer from Microsoft about Flight Simulator 2020. We're like, what is all this about? And every single developer that was in the room with me when that trailer dropped, either they are excellent actors or nobody had any idea that it was coming. And so I think it was a big surprise for all of us, but it's like awesome to see. And just the amount of interest that I see from people from just all walks of life, whether it's at work, whether it's at events like Sun and Fun. I mean, there's just so much more to the flight sim world than there was, it feels like, 5 years ago. And you know what? We weren't doing too bad 5 years ago either.
That's the thing. Like, I remember, sitting in front of X-Plane 11 going, if this gets any more real, I mean, like, it's so realistic, and that was from a graphics point of view, not even the systems. I mean, the systems were always there, right? But yeah, from the visuals, it was like, this is crazy. And then, of course, we saw the trailer. It was like, what is this?
Yep.
Since that kind of explosion of growth happened, from your perspective, I'd say it's been pretty interesting because you're seeing different trends, right? I mean, the first couple of years was all about, okay, we got to make the software, we got to make the aircraft better, we got to make the graphics run a little bit sweeter, we need different systems for, be it virtual airlines or VATSIM connections and all this. And then I suppose, well, more recently, it's all about hardware. It's the peripherals. We need controllers. We need to try VR and all of these things. I mean, any idea where you think it's going to go to kind of for the next phase?
If you know that, I would love for you to tell me so I can go make some money off it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's like you said. I mean, remember back when like the only thing out there was like that CH products yoke, and now like look at all the options we have. And if you want to build your own like full scale home cockpit, you can go to Scalarchy. And if you want to build like a slightly watered down version of that, but for a little bit less, you can go to Wind Control. Like, there's just so many pieces of hardware out there now, which I think is why shows like FS Weekend that's coming up and Flight Sim Expo are so cool, because you get to try all these things that didn't exist 5 years ago.
Mhm.
I don't know, VR is such an interesting one because it was like going to be the be all and the end all, and it's cool and it's got adoption for sure in Flight Sim. It's maybe what 10-20% according to the Navigraph survey, if I'm not making that number up. But is it like 100% adoption? Is it what we thought it was going to be? I don't know, and I would love to see if I had my choice of what was next, maybe not what I think is next, but what I would love to see is like the ability for the VR experience to be there without the HMD. Would just be able to like look at sort of a 3D monitor and be able to like poke with your finger and press a button in the virtual cockpit, but you feel it and it happens. And whether that's a haptic glove or whether that's some other new technology we don't have yet, like that basically all exists. I don't think it exists at the consumer level yet, but that's what I'd love to see next.
Absolutely. And like you can see advancements being made. I mean, the headsets are getting sharper, more detailed. There's OLED going into them. They're getting lighter. The prices are coming down. And then we're seeing features like, you know, pass through and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's mad to think where the tech is going. Like, I think, you know, for anyone involved in flight simulation now, especially on the PC side, I mean, the challenge right now is hardware, not so much the peripherals, it's hardware when it comes to your computer, right? Because the prices have gone absolutely nuts. What is refreshing, we're seeing the hardware when it comes to flight sim peripherals come down. And that's a huge advantage, of course, because there's so much spotlight now and coverage. I mean, if we go back 5 years ago, if you were to say Moza, wind control, and you know who, and yet today they're
even those racing brands.
Yeah, it's like sim racing, right?
Yeah.
Now that or DCS even, I think you know, Windwing were doing stuff back in the day when they were Windwing for DCS, but like now they're like the biggest names we have when it comes to hardware, and more on the way.
I know, and it's exciting to see every year at our show and at FS Weekend. It feels like there's something new that's coming out. So I'm excited to see what they have in just over a month now, I guess, in Lelystad there. And then, of course, the new announcements that we have. I don't know what we're going to do about FS Expo Friday because there's so many people who want time on the stage. And I'm like, I really don't want to have to gatekeep it. But like, I don't think people want to sit for 10 hours. So I have to figure out how we're going to deal with that. But lots and lots of exciting stuff coming out. And every year, like you say, it feels like there's even more. And then that's not even to mention whatever Meridian GMT comes out with. Nikki showed me a lot of stuff that I know I can't share, but I'm excited to see kind of come to fruition. And that's just one of a number of companies, new companies that have moved into this space in the last like year. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nikki, he's a character, and like I want him to win. He needs to win. It's just been so frustrating. It's like, can we just like get the stuff? Come on, you can do it. So like, yeah, we're rooting for Nikki. Like we just want
you to revolutionize the entire flight sim hardware business for the second time.
Yeah.
No big deal. You should have had it done yesterday. Why is it taking so long?
Yeah,
know,
like
right?
just tick the box. Like here, I bought it. I now have it, and that's it. Yeah. That's all we want, you know. But we'll chat about Expo in a couple of moments. I wanted to, if that's okay, have a quick chat in relation to the Flight Sim Association, because it's quite unique in what it is. It is that of a community as an association of flight simulation enthusiasts, aviation enthusiasts, and even just community enthusiasts. I mean, it's there for flight simmers, it's there for people who want to learn, and indeed for people to teach. Can you give us a bit of kind of background into this organization?
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got the website up there, flightsimiassociation.com. A lot of people assume that it came before the show, and that would have made a lot more sense, but actually it was the other way around. So we started running this thing called Flight Sim Expo in 2018, and we discovered, especially during the COVID years, people were like, we love coming to the show, but we want something to exist in between the event. Kind of like you said, that once a year does not come up often enough. And so it was partially in that time we had a bit of extra time, but also just from people asking us over and over again, we put together this thing called Flight Sim Association that is supposed to be the kind of resource or the launching pad for someone who's new to this hobby of ours. And whether they're a pilot or a student pilot who want to use this for training, or whether they might be somebody who is a former pilot and they're trying to figure out how to get into Flight Sim. I have a lot of phone calls with that kind of personality. This is a daunting thing to get into, especially if you're someone who doesn't love computers and technology, which is kind of me. It's a lot of things to learn. Like, I don't know, graphics cards and like RAM, like these are terms that people don't necessarily know. And so you start getting down this rabbit hole and you're like, where the heck do I start? And so that was our answer to that, trying to give people a lot of great resources to get started. We have one-on-one coaching with experienced flight simmers for people who want that. We have literal flight instruction that you can do over Zoom calls now for people who want to use this as a training aid. And then for your kind of core hobbyist flight simmer, which is what I was when I started, a lot of different discounts, free products, perks, benefits for joining the association and being part of it, all designed to just give you that little bit of, 10% off here, 5% off there. A thank you from the developers for being part of the community and for supporting us.
It's huge, and I was going to get onto that. I mean, it's one thing kind of becoming a member, being a part of something, right? But then you have you've access to training, to either train or be trained. Then you have access to group events, and then you have access to a whole load of discounts, which is great to see. So I think anyone interested, definitely check it out. I mean, I'm happily a captain. Plus, you have the captain's dinner at Expos. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and like the network is massive. Like, you're going to find like-minded people, regardless of what you prefer to fly. So yeah, it's fantastic, and the fact you have real world pilots in there. I mean, you can literally get in contact with a real world pilot for a specific aircraft and say, "Hey, can you teach me how to fly this?" I mean, you can do that.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, it's that one kind of place where there is that community presence. So again, if you haven't come into this hobby, like a lot of people come into this because they bought a payware product or they're part of VATSIM, so they're like already kind of have something behind them, and then that's awesome. We're not trying to replace that. But if you're someone who doesn't know any of that stuff, we tried to be the spot where you can kind of come in and be like the springboard to find the other resources, to find the other groups and communities, to discover VATSIM or discover SayIntentions or discover that AnyBuilds has products, like all those kinds of things. You need to know that those exist to go and look for them. And so if you can drop into a Discord community, or for a lot of people, they prefer a phone call. So I spend a lot of time on the phone with people. Another common one I'll get is like the husband or the father passed away. They had a flight sim set up and they want to figure out what to do with it. Like they want it to go to a good home. They don't want it to just be on eBay or on Facebook, or they don't like using social media. And so we've been able to connect those kinds of people with like a local chapter in the area, and they can donate that stuff to the group. They can donate it to a high school. We've done a lot of that kind of stuff. So it's like when someone knows a little bit about flight sim, but they're not really sure where to start, FSA is kind of designed to be that launching pad to be able to help you get started and discover a little bit about this awesome world that we're all part of.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, so I put a link in the chat there, guys. Go have a look at it. Flight Sim Association. In addition to that, you also do controlling, and you helped us out a huge bit when we did our ATC conversion, right? All our European language coming over to flying in America. So it was with the Boston Virtual ARTCC, and of course Wings over New England. That in itself that's a masterpiece for training.
Yeah, it's also just a lot of work, but yes, funnily enough, I'm in the process of rewriting that right now, because let me just back up and say, for those who don't know, yes, I'm a controller on VATSIM, and we also built this thing called Wings Over New England, which if you didn't see the session that we did, what was that, almost a year ago now?
Yeah.
Not quite that long ago. It's designed to basically be the intro to flying on VATSIM from the perspective of ATC communication. So not teaching you how to fly the airplane, but teaching you how to work within the ATC system and understand how to speak with air traffic control, how to fly instrument procedures, what airspace is, what you need to enter certain airspace. So it's 30 structured flights. You don't need an instructor. You simply sign onto the network whenever Boston controllers are online. Any controller can monitor your flight, and they do what a real world controller would do. They just watch your flight, they give you instructions, and they make sure that you do everything as you're supposed to. If something doesn't go well, for example, you're flying a full procedure instrument approach and you don't enter the procedure correctly, you're supposed to fly a procedure turn, but you didn't, no big deal. We just say, hey, you're supposed to fly the procedure turn here. We'll give you a vector. Let's try it again. And so the funny thing about that program, we designed it when slant alpha navigation, to quote my friend Rob, VORs, NDBs was the thing. And so a lot of the flights relied upon VOR navigation, flying a back course approach, and these things don't exist anymore. And so we've had to rewrite the program, and I'm in the process of doing that now to be a little bit more RNAV focused. We still cover all those basics, especially of course ILS VOR navigation, but stuff like NDB approaches, stuff like back course approaches, they just don't exist in the NAS anymore, so I can't use them. And we've designed or working on the process of redesigning it. But it's a really fun program. We've had thousands of people go through that, totally free, of course, for anyone who's a VATSIM member,
Mhm.
and something that we think, I hope anyway, has helped people discover a little bit more about IFR flying, especially if you're someone who never wants to go through the process of getting your IFR certification in real life. This is a way of basically doing all the things that you'd need to know in a really easy, fun, and free way to do it on VATSIM.
I've done, I think, 25 of them or 26 of them. I need to double check. I want to
I'll
go
find
back.
out for you.
Yeah, yeah. That's
They
the
go like
entry
that.
requirements now to do the next one. I have to go off and learn again. But I have to say, like, a good few of us did that course together on our streams, and like the result of that, Evan. You know, we've been running with our VATSIM Thursday guys. One of our guys, Naughty Gnome. You know, for over a year, we've been flying US routes. Which has been amazing because we've got to experience all the different ARTCCs throughout the United States, and that wouldn't have happened without being able to do wings over New England. So it enabled us to do it, which is great. So yeah,
You've done 11, by the way, which is really good.
I've only done. Oh no, that's a typo. Did I only do 11?
You only did 11, but
I've 19
one of
left
the
to
good
do.
ones though, like all the foundational ones that are good for what you're kind of doing, and that's also cool because people can pick the parts of the program they're interested in. So if you like the really nitty gritty general aviation stuff of like I want to fly a missed approach and divert and hold, like that stuff is all in there. But if you just want to do the okay, I want to fly airliners and RNAV in the United States, how do I learn to do that? We've picked the flights that are kind of relevant to you and tried to incorporate that stuff. And we've got things, and as we do this rewrite too, we're bringing in more things that only airline pilots really deal with, like category 2 or 3 approaches, for example, or repositioning an airplane. Those are things that you don't really see very often in GA, but we're kind of trying to bring in a little bit of this. Okay, you're an airline pilot, what is something different that you might get assigned to do than just a regular flight? So that stuff is all built in to some extent, but increasingly they'll be there when we get this rewrite done, whenever I get time to do it.
I need to go back now and do all these other. I thought I did more than that. That's terrible, isn't it? Right, I'll go off and do more.
Wait until I rewrite them, but you could do it once I've done them.
That's my excuse. I have to wait. Brilliant. Nice. Okay. Yes. Great stuff. Well, there's a link on into the chat there as well. As I said, we've done it, and you're quite right. You can just select any module you want to do yourself. And you'll see when Boston is online. You drop them. You tell them, hey, by the way, I'm doing a wings flight. Oh, okay, we got you. And they'll allow for that. It's just great to see. It's just great to see. Moving on, then of course, Flight Sim Expo. I mean, the showcase, the capital of all, Flight Sim, the largest event in North America. And you have mentioned Flight Sim Weekend. I don't know. Can you attend this year? We saw you there last year.
Yes, I will be there. Of course.
Nice.
I told Giannis this. I go for the free breakfast at the Vanderbilt, and the rest is just, it's nice, but it's all about the breakfast.
It's all about the breakfast. It was a lot of fun last year, and it's great to see a couple of things, right? It's great to see them growing, but it's also great to see, the Flight Sim Association working with them, which is great to see because in any other industry, in any other genre, be it gaming or otherwise, it's so... it's highly competitive. So no, we're not, you do your thing, we're doing our thing. That's not the case when it comes to flight simming, which I find is absolutely amazing. So you guys are very open, you support them, you help them out, and then they do the same. It's great to see because as us in the community, we benefit from this because there is that kind of crossover between, well, this is the European show, this is the North American show. And I'm sure it saves you a headache having to bring, the tent over to Europe for a Flight Sim Expo, right? But yeah, so Flight Sim Expo kicking off this year in June, between the 12th and 14th in St. Paul in Minneapolis. How are we getting on with that? There has been a little bit of worry with kind of, current affairs, political affairs. And I've been tracking, and fair play to you on your webs, on the Discord. You've been keeping up to date with the folks who are there, with the event itself, the premises, but also trying to put people at ease as well to say, well, look, this is kind of what we're looking at. Right now, where do you think it's all at? And, are people concerned? Should they be concerned? What's your take on it?
Yeah, well, first of all, FS Weekend, good friends with the guys who put that on. We've been happy to support them. They've supported us back. And I agree with you. I love that. I think, there's two big shows right now, one big one in Europe, one big one in North America. We like that, and I don't love the idea of it being any more fractured than that. So I like the fact that we can work together. And if you're a Flight Sim developer, it means if you want to reach the European audience, you go to FS Weekend. If you want to reach the American, Canadian, North American audience, you come to Flight Sim Expo. And a lot of developers, and hopefully most of them keep doing it, do both shows. And that's been something whenever a dev asks me, hey, should we go consider this event? I always say, yes, you should do both if you can, because it's the only way to reach those audiences. And if you're in either of those places, it means you don't have to travel across the ocean. So that's definitely a good thing. When it comes to what's been going on in Minneapolis, thanks for the question. Obviously, we always very closely monitor what's happening in the local area. So once we announce where the show is, actually even before, I like set all my news alerts on my phone to the local area, and I put in some of the keywords. So we're always watching anything and everything that happens. I want to first of all clarify, St. Paul is different than Minneapolis. And even though they're close by, both politically and in terms of like what happens there, it really is a tale of two totally different cities. So obviously there's been a lot of news in Minneapolis around stuff that's been happening. Thankfully, it seems like we're seeing a really big de-escalation there with what has been happening, and it seems like that trend is going to continue. But in St. Paul, and this is confirmed not only by people from the venue, but also just friends that I know in the area, they have not seen any disruption, any protests, anything out of the ordinary in downtown St. Paul. Our show is actually held in the same building that the Minnesota Wild ice hockey team play at. So if anyone's ever curious, all you have to do is literally watch the attendance of those games. There's 18,000 plus fans at that venue every single night the Minnesota Wild are playing, and they're doing well this year. So that means that will continue. Really nothing out of the ordinary there. So I think it's absolutely right to keep an eye on things as we do. And crazy stuff has happened around this show. We had COVID, obviously. Then in 2024, we had our venue unexpectedly close about 2 weeks before this time at the end of January in 2024. Had to relocate on very short notice. That was a fun year. And then even last year, if you remember, the week of the show, in I think Qatar, if I'm not wrong, there were strikes from Iran because of some stuff going on in the Middle East, and a number of attendees were like scheduled to fly out that day, and their flight was canceled because there was like rockets flying overhead. Like, it's just crazy some of the things that have been happening in and around our show, and we just kind of keep on tracking and make sure everyone feels safe. Obviously, like we always do, we'll have a mix of venue security, our own hired security, as well as local police officers on site. There'll be security checks at the entrance. That's always just a standard practice anytime you do big events with 2,000 or 3,000 people at them. So all of what you're used to, if you've been to the show before, that will, I think, help everyone feel that much safer. And of course, as there are developments, as we always do, we'll keep folks up to date on those.
Super. In the middle of all that, we just got a raid from Chewy. Welcome in, Chewy, and welcome in, nice. Raiders. Chebecca's here as well. A very good evening to you guys. We're here chatting to Evan, all things Flight Sim Association, and of course with FS Expo. I think, from last year in particular, because it was such a different venue than the previous year, and then the previous year before they've been quite different. So when it comes to let's say where we were in Houston versus Las Vegas versus Providence, each of those venues, all different areas, and you're thinking to yourself, right, how is this going to actually kind of work and happen? And then when we look now at St. Paul, which is kind of similar to the vibe, if you like, that we had at Providence, it's it's not a Las Vegas, right? So I suppose some folks would be worrying. I'm sure they are. I mean, it's in Europe, like that stuff is just it's on all the news. Right.
Totally.
But I think the important thing is to kind of let folks rest assured. I mean, your goal is not to have people traveling into an area that's going to be anyway impacting them negatively. Correct. So you're watching that, and it's not just you watching that. As I say, you have people who are there monitoring all this kind of stuff as well. Was there much kickback, or are you seeing kickback from, be it people or vendors saying, I just don't want to deal with the drama? Or, I mean, we kind of saw it last year, but in the 11th hour, literally, when flights started opening up, well, people just came, they headed over.
Yeah, and we had a similar thing last year. I want to say it was in like March or something, where everyone was afraid of, like, they were checking your phones at the border or something like that. Like that kind of thing happened. Did you remember that? People were like deleting their social media and all that. Yeah. That was, that also happened, and like that was not even a year ago, but it already feels like a distant memory. So that was our thing last year. I remember going to FS Weekend, and that was the concern that I was hearing from people. And I'm like, I'm sure it's real, but like I go to the US basically 2 or 3 times a week, and that's never happened to me. So like, like, I don't know what to tell you with
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And by the way, I'm looking at the chat, so if people do have specific questions around anything, happy to share those. Thanks for the comments on Providence. I think St. Paul, if you are thinking about it from a vibes perspective, that will be very similar to Providence. There's a river that goes through downtown. There's a lot of bars nearby. I'm sure you'll find an Irish pub if there is one somewhere close to
I
the
know
venue.
exactly where it is. McGovern's
You already
Park.
know, of course you do. Yeah. Very walkable, beautiful weather in June. Actually, when I was talking to Visit St. Paul last week, they're like, basically Providence is us on the East Coast. So if you liked Providence or if you saw what that was like, St. Paul is going to feel very similar, very welcoming area. And they're really aware of what's going on and they've been super supportive. So we are working on a message, I hope anyway, from the mayor to sort of tell people, hey, it's like a really welcoming spot. They're excited to have this event. We're actually big news for them because they're not small, but they are smaller than like a Vegas or a New York where we wouldn't really be noticed.
Sure.
And so it's really meaningful to this area. Hopefully anyway, the region's been really supportive thus far around things like tours that we always do. So I'm excited to see, a lot more of that. So far, the community has been really supportive with us. I know some people are like, yeah, I want to go. I'm just not sure yet. I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens. And that's great. I'm very happy to hear that because it means that, people are paying attention and they should. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big trip for people. It'd be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. They want to have a good time at the event. And it means a lot to us that they support and they trust us and that they're taking their time to think through that. So there has been a little bit of that. I have had no exhibitors cancel. People have obviously asked us some questions. We've answered those questions. And what we heard from the developers when we spoke with them 2 weeks ago, everyone was basically like, stay put. This is a great spot. We're really excited about the venue. Let all this stuff pass in Minneapolis. And they were really assured, as am I, to know that it really has not affected St. Paul. But we've done this for 8 years now. We've been through, like I said, COVID. We've been through a venue change. Knock on wood, I don't know how much more they could throw at us, but we're pretty good at doing this, and we're pretty good at making sure that people are safe and comfortable and that the events go off as they should. And I'm expecting all that to continue into 2026.
It's awesome to hear. And again, like for anyone who's not sure about doing or going to a Flight Sim Expo, I mean, this year, I mean, it's bigger, better, you've new features about it, and it's not just necessarily the event itself, getting to meet the exhibitors or getting to try out hardware or indeed, the software. You can get to meet the people, you get to meet fellow community members. There's everyone is there, right? But you also have activities there as well. So for something new for this year, which I thought was very interesting, you're planning something new on the Friday.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can go to if you want to pull up the page and go to the at the show page, you can kind of give people a sense as to what all's happening. It's in the menu up at the top, but you might need to, there you go, activities, and then
at the show
kind of gives you an idea. But lots of new things this year. One of them being that we did introduce a new single day ticket option. A lot of people were asking us for, hey, I want to just I can only come for Saturday, or I can only be there for Friday. I really want to show up to the event, but I don't want to buy the whole weekend. So we did introduce that, which is exciting. And part of that was opening up our exhibit hall on Friday for the first time. So historically, you had FS Expo Friday. That was the only thing that we had on Friday. And I say only as if it wasn't a lot. And here we have 30 different flights of devs dropping new products. No big deal.
Yeah.
But we've added the ability for you to even try those things. So I think for the Friday, we've kind of calling it an exhibit hall preview. I think people will really find that interesting because typically on Friday, you have about 1,500 people versus you might have 25 or even 3,000 people on Saturday. So it's like double the amount of space for you to go and hang out and actually get time with the exhibitors, which is something we haven't had before. And I'm really excited to introduce that for the first time. We'll see what people think about it, but it gives you that much more time with the developers. Of course, scrolling down here, FS Expo Friday, biggest stage in Flight Sim where we will have all these new product announcements. That one is such a fun one for us to put on because we're talking with developers, big and small. Some people have marketing teams. Some people are just literally themselves like I am. And we don't have a team behind us, just me and Phil. And so if you put me on a stage, having not done anything, I'd be like, I don't know what to talk about really. And so sometimes you get people's just true nerdy self yourself, and you're like, this is actually so cool watching like the developer of this plane nerd out about how they made this airplane. Like I love stuff like that. And so again, trying to figure out how we squeeze so many announcements into such a short amount of time gets to be exciting. But that's what we'll be doing once again this year on Friday. And then before and after the show, our offsite aviation tours just down lower on the page there. I'm working actively on getting those right now. In previous years, we've been able to do tours of the airside, get people up into the air traffic control towers. We've had different fun activities in and around the area. Did you do Comedy Bus last year? I don't think you did.
I didn't. I was aware of everything. Like there was even golfing, I think, at some stage. So yeah. It's
We've
crazy.
done a bit of everything. A lot of escape rooms and stuff like that. So if you have a group of friends already, I'm never going to beat that. I'm never going to try to beat that. If you have a group of friends, come to the show with your friends. It's an amazing experience. That's literally why I go. However, if you, your old veteran says you spent all your time at Murphy's Pub.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't have a group of friends to hang out with at the show, we've built all of these different what we call add-ons around the event itself so that you can find people to hang out with. You can go out and do the escape room together. You can go out and do the tour of the area together and have that kind of stuff to do outside of the event.
It's gas because,
of course, going out to the show. Sorry, go ahead.
It's gas because it actually leads itself into making and you do. I've made a ton of friends purely at Flight Sim Expo, right? People who you might know of in a community, but then you spend a bit of time with them, and it could be at the offsite things, right? Be it a tour or a group of people just going off to experience something together, or it could be on the social side, be it on the Friday, right after the announcements, or even during the announcements. It's quite amazing because there's a particular vibe, I think, when it comes to Flight Sim Expo. And it kind of, it goes back into what you were saying earlier on. There's always a sense of kind of safe about it because the attitude and the vibe, it's a very kind of well-to-do. Everyone they're chill, they're in good form, they're in a good mood, they're happy to be there. And that makes the whole event, I think, what it is, because, you're providing everything for us to consume, right? Be it with the announcements and access to developers, but everyone has this. We're all kind of fans of aviation and flight simming, so it's quite a positive place to be. And then when you can go off and do this, the other stuff, the extracurricular activities, you can make some serious friends out of that. Even traveling. I remember even traveling to and from these. You'd be chatting to people at the airport and you're like, it's incredible, like.
Yeah, and Providence had that feel, and I think you'll see it in St. Paul too. Like when we were walking around, I was just walking back to my hotel, and like all these people have their Flight Sim Expo badges, and like Murphy's is like literally the people just spilling out the door, right? It was so cool. We took over the entirety of downtown Providence. They had signs up like "Welcome to Flight Sim Expo," and I think you'll see that same kind of vibe in St. Paul. So again, if you saw our show in Providence or you like that experience, St. Paul is going to offer a lot of the same, and there is obviously a huge aviation aspect to the Midwest. And so for our first time bringing this show there, we're really working on those relationships with the state, with the airports, with schools in the area, and kind of building that footprint, because obviously a lot of what we do in addition to the flight sim stuff is real world aviation and trying to attract the pilot, the student pilot, the person who knows nothing about flight sim and saying, you should come out to this event and experience all this. And that's been going really well for us so far.
It really is. I remember in Vegas, there was a photograph taken of me. I had very bad eyesight, but I will say this: it's great to see, the real world side. There was flight schools involved. It's quite incredible because they know the story, right? They say, well, hang on, these are potential possible recruiting grounds. People who are at a younger age who are now interested in aviation. So for the real world side, be it the airlines or even technical aviation or even general aviation, if they're looking for, recruitment, it's a phenomenal space to be able to put a stall up and say, look, this is what we do. You like doing this in the sim? Well, we do it for real. It's amazing, and it's very powerful for them to do that. But also, I think with new developers, we saw some mad stuff there last year. There was these guys, lovely guys. They built. It was like a physical flight sim. The only way you can interact with the flight sim, you had to be standing up and physically moving. The idea is to get rid of the beer gut, right?
That was cool.
It was cool. And to see that and the exposure then that gets, it's massive. It really is, because not only are you showing it to community members who are there and consumers, but you're showing it to other developers, and they'd be like, I can work with this person, or I have an idea that could help with them. I think it's absolutely incredible. So I know we're not yet at the announcements for this year, but I mean, based on where we're at, I mean, is it on course to be what you have planned, yourself and Phil have planned in terms of kind of scale and scope?
I'll answer that question right after the show's over. No, I think it's going really well. Obviously, minus the challenges that we talked about earlier, and that's every year it feels like in around this time, me and Phil are always looking at the registration trends, and we're looking at how many developers have responded and how many haven't, and we're like, how's this going to be? And then of course things all start to really build momentum as the show gets closer. For me, I look at this show as like it's tomorrow, but for a lot of people, it's only February, and there's a long way to go before they want to even start to talk about it. So we're talking to developers who are basically now starting to say, okay, yeah, now we can start talking to you about Flight Sim Expo. I'm like, dude, it's like tomorrow. Like, what are we doing? Waiting so long? But for them, it's a once a year thing, and this is the time they start to look at it. But super easy show for people to get involved with. On our website, there is links to travel discounts from the airlines, from rental cars. We have discounted hotel options. You don't have to book on those ones, but they typically will be the cheapest option anywhere in the area. That was especially the case in Providence. All that's under our travel link there if you want to see that. And you get a little map of the area and kind of where all the different hotels are. But we really try to make it super, super easy to get to the area. We've given you some recommendations on how you can get there, whether you're coming from somewhere nearby or whether you're coming from overseas. We have the whole kind of package together with the hotel options. You can even, as you can see, you can fly your aircraft there. So we really try to make it super, super easy for people to get involved with the show and make it out to the event. Because like you say, you really only get the experience when you're there. We have a live stream, and of course, I'm sure you'll be streaming various parts of the show, but it's not the same. You get a fraction of the experience watching it online, even with great content creators like yourself trying to share it. There is no substitute for being there in person and for being able to try all the hardware. You can watch two-tone all you want, try to crash an airplane, but it's not the same as doing it yourself.
100%. And like it's you were saying there, just making it so accessible to people. I mean, even to extend what's available on the website, even on your Discord, I see the comments, folks offering to ride share and say, hey, I'm driving from this area, I got 2 seats. It's great to see the community helping each other out. And next thing, sure, people are now, they might go for a beer that night and suddenly they're all friends then. It's crazy. But I do agree. I mean, you got to be there. Yes, for those who can't travel, you have a lot of kind of backroom tech up and running for live streaming the events. Everything's published. People can use that as the virtual experience of Flight Sim Expo, which, if they just can't travel, I get. And, you're not excluded. You can still take part. But being there is nothing like being there, because there's so many things. And I don't think it's any one particular area on its own. Like, it's not just the hardware, it's not just meeting with devs. It's the combination of everything together. And you could be someone who is very outgoing and you're happy to chat with people and meet new people, or you could be a quiet person. You just want to get in, look at stuff, and get out of there again. The whole experience caters to both, which is savage. So yeah, man, I can't wait for, like, the excitement is cool. It is ramping up.
I know.
FS weekend just around the corner, over to the Netherlands. But certainly then all eyes will now focus on FS Expo because, well, numbers. I mean, it's incredible. Last year was records. The year before was records. I mean, it's great to see the pace of Flight Sim Expo increasing each and every year. And yes, the developers and manufacturers help with that because they've got new stuff to show off, but also because that idea of picking a new venue every year, to Europeans, I would say, who like to travel to the US, this is amazing because, well, we get to explore somewhere new, right? But also then for, like, North Americans, you're like, well, I've never been here before, so let's go see what it's all about. It's genius.
That was Providence for me. I was like, when they first reached out to us, I was kind of like, okay, I know where it is, but like, what, right? Like, what a random spot. And then what I've heard from most people who were there is it was their favorite of the places that we've been so far, which is really interesting. And I think a lot of people would be like, wow, I would never have thought about that, because that was certainly where I was. So whether we can keep all that going into the future, obviously that depends on, do we keep growing? How many people are coming to the show? Where are they coming from? But I'm hoping that's a thing we can continue to do. The problem, which is a great problem to have, is that every year minus last year we outgrew the venue we were at,
Mhm.
or like the Tropicana, they tore it down. So that makes it harder to go back. But if we can, keep that growth going, and as the registration trends continue, and as we keep hearing from our partners, especially our Diamond Plus partners who signed 3-year commitments to help support us, that would include some of the biggest names that you can think of in the community, PMDG being one, Navigraph being another, and for the first time this year, Builds joining in the fun.
Mhm.
Those three especially help carry the show, and that is what allows us to go out and find some of these amazing venues. So now I'm literally waiting on a few different options, kind of going, okay, what is going to be the right size for this show? Because you want it to be big enough that you can keep growing, but you don't want to go 300,000 square feet where you're only going to fill a third of the convention center, and then what do you do with the rest of all that space? So that's a fun challenge that we're in the process of doing right now. I did site visits in 5 different properties, maybe 6 in January, which was a busy month for me.
Right.
And we've kind of got the most of the lay of the land about what 2027 is going to look like, and working on all the details through that right now.
Nice, nice. And again, on the sponsorship side, like it's far more than just like a name on a screen. I mean, the sponsors at any level, they're all contributing to enabling this entire event. Like that's the that is what it is. They are enabling this event to actually happen, and it's so important from the community side. But also, if you're a developer, if you're interested in development, if you're a hardware manufacturer, this is critical. To have these events, and again, we are seeing the growth on the real world side, which we all know there's still a massive shortage of not only pilots but even indeed now ATC and mechanics. There's a lot of scope here for the focus to kind of turn to, well, yes, you can put out an advertisement looking for staff, right? But who's going to be more passionate? People who are using the sim or already have that interest versus someone who might be just do you get an extra zero on my paycheck? Like it can be very beneficial for flight sim enthusiasts to be looking into this. So it's absolutely awesome. I can't wait to go. There's no rules now for Crocs or any of that this year, and I've already found the Irish pub, one of them at least, and
So you're done.
I started. We'll go in pretending that we're the Guinness inspectors. Can we try your Guinness? Just to make sure it's okay. But
you get the accent for it. I think it would be.
Yeah, it just about works. So I imagine, Evan, the next few weeks it's going to be busy. Then you're over to FS weekend. Then you're back, and then I'd say it's all, well, I want to say downhill from there, but it's pretty much uphill. That's when you will become just busy.
Yeah, so no rules about Crocs that I know of anyway, but that's not necessarily for me to decide on. But anyway, when it comes to that, hoping to do our typical kind of exhibitor reveal or sharing some more information about who all is going to be there. Typically, we do that after FS weekend for a bunch of reasons, but just also like that's the spotlight. That's a great show. It's very exciting. I want to go there. It would just be weird to me if we were like the week before, like, hey, look at us and look at all these things. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So we like to let that show happen and get people excited about the concept of coming to these events. And then probably shortly thereafter, you can expect us to share more detail about exactly who all will be at the event this year. But I can say there's a lot of new names, of course, a lot of familiar names as well. And I'm really excited to see what will looking to be anyway, a lot of really new and exciting hardware for people to come out and experience and try. Just had a fun call with a developer of ours who was at the show last year, who's talking about launching a new hardware product at the show this year. And for a lot of people, it's like, we're really trying to make it happen. It's obviously got to happen by June. It's a pretty tough deadline for them to make, because if they don't have it by the time of the show, we're not going to move the show for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they can pull it off. But there's some really exciting stuff that's going to be coming down as always. And it's a fun show to be at. So if you can do it, please do it. If you can't do it, as we said before, there is a way that you can watch some parts of the event online, but it is not the same experience. So have a look at our website. We've got all the details on how to get to the area, how to book your hotel, how to participate in this event. And literally, if anyone has any questions, I'm on Discord as RT. You can join the FSA Discord, ask here in the chat if you have one before the end of our chat now. I'm more than happy to answer any specific questions. I've been having back and forth emails, 5, 6, 7 emails deep with people about what's been happening in the area or their recommendations for how they should make the most of this show. Sometimes people will call me and they're like, I'm new to Flight Sim, like, what should I do about making the most of this event experience? So happy to have that chat with anyone who wants to listen.
Brilliant, brilliant. And again, you know, we'll keep everyone up to date based on you keeping us up to date with if there's going to be further developments, and otherwise we're just looking forward to it. Evan, listen, thanks so much. I mean, you have a busy schedule. We were weeks planning this one, so
That's not that bad.
Thank you very much indeed for squeezing us in today, and great catching up with you. And hopefully we get to see you then in a couple of weeks at FS Weekend. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having us on and for the opportunity to talk to the community. Always love doing stuff like this. Happy to do it again at some point before the show this year if we want to.
Sweet.
Or at any point down the line. But we'll see you, if not before, in a little over a month, I guess.
About a month, yeah. I'd be wearing my blue jumper. You'll see me.
I've been outed as a Canadian. It's bad. I mean, we're in trouble now.
Go on. Listen, thanks a million, and we'll chat to you soon.
All right, sounds good. Take care.
All the best, mate. See you.
Bye.
All right. That was Evan from the Flight Sim Association, also FS Expo, and overall just a gentleman. Sound very informative, and you know that, you know, when we talk about Flight Sim Expo and the real world drama, you know, that's taking place where the venue is going to be at, there's always worries there, right? So hopefully that might have put you at ease a little bit. Again, if there's going to be changes, well, they're going to let you know. The objective of this event is for everyone to have a good time, a positive time, not that of a negative time. Do you know what I mean? So massive thanks to Evan. We know Phil is working away in the background as well, and just so very nice for them to share with us. And great to, you know, they're going to be at FS Weekend. Catching up with the lads as well. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to that. So great stuff. Right, I missed loads. Chewy, you're very welcome in, and all the raiders, welcome aboard, lads. Chewbecca is here as well. Good to see you, Mrs. Texas One Flyboy, thank you very much indeed for the resub. I turned off alerts there because it'd be very, you know, they'd be literally covering Port 11. So I'll turn them back on now. Right, and now, friends, we continue. When you say creative space, do you mean a spot for media partners or interview? No, Evan, they are taking the mick out of me. But yeah, we probably will have a creative space. See, I've said it now, right? The first time I said it tonight. Thanks, Skibbo. Right, but we will have we will, right? It's grand. It's grand. My recent video was taken out of context. Hang on, Evan, I need to show you this, otherwise you won't understand what we're talking about. Ah, Jesus, then. Look, there's more of it. Just in case, right? Mer's been busy all day. I'll show you the video, right? Who's this now? Ibanez, thank you very much indeed. 22, Jesus. 51 months. Cheers, buddy. In a box, man. 22 months. Lads, thank you very, very much indeed. Wait till you see this. This will explain it all. Right. Hang on, I'll find it here now in a second. Jason, I wouldn't know what you're finding here. Right, now. Due warning, right? I didn't make this. Gibbo did. As we explore, well, this is my creative space. You don't have a creative space. Having your own kind of space, having a creative space like this, having an area in which you can be creative by having this kind of creative space. The man cave, the creative space. Build yourself a creative space. Having that creative space, very much a creative space. This is just a creative area. This creative space, it's our space. It's us. Your creative space. This creative space that... I may have said creative space once or twice, you know. My creative wizardry is like, you know, I'm shocking. It has no bounds, lads. It has no bounds. Anyway, moving on. We're about to do some stuff now with the simulator, because I want to show you two things. So let me see. We're going to end the flight. Please don't crash, Sim. We've two things to show you here. And then we're going to be showing you, whatchamacallit, we're going to be showing you some hardware. So don't go away. We have the Corsair Galleon 100 SD to show. But we also have some stuff to do before that. So airport TJSJ. Hopefully there should be. I just want to show you this. Quokka, good to see you. Adam Controls is here. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it. Yeah. I may have mentioned it once. Yeah, brilliant. Right, where am I? Is this it here? It is. Let me see. There's a military part of this. This airport, it's a very interesting airport, right? And the reason being, it's shared with general aviation, commercial, and military all at the same time. So I think there's a cargo ramp, and then we have a military ramp. Here we go. And we're going to be looking at two things here. One is a brand new helicopter from Kwik Flight. This is the Striker. I don't know what happened there. Oh, Jesus. But we'll sort this one out now fairly lively. Get up there now, and in we go. Right. So this is the first part. So it's going to be the aircraft and then the scenery, and then we're going to jump over then and have a look at some hardware. Right. That is the plan. So let's see here now. By the way, lads, those links, do be sure to check out Flight Sim Association and FS Expo. They're all there for us. It's lash and rain in me sim. Right, now, let's change the weather here. I need updates for updates all over the shop. Can we just go to here, please? No, can we just go to here? Yes. Calm at the wind. That looks kind of nice. I'm going to make it kind of daytime. And here we go. So I'm after already click. Jesus, you can remove. I didn't know you can do. I'm after learning something. Look at that. You can take the cover off the old Canon. Right. So what are we looking at here? Well, this here, friends, is that of the Quickflight Striker, and they've worked with Blackbird Simulations on this as well. It's a modern twin-seat attack and reconnaissance helicopter built for precision, agility, and dominance. Ooh. What would we have? Take control from fully interactable front and rear cockpits featuring a modern glass cockpit layout with 4 multifunction displays, a dual function standby display, dynamic keyboard input for systems management, refined flight model with native vortex ring state simulation, advanced stability augmentation, and it can even do hands-off hover capability, making the Striker equally rewarding for new pilots and experienced rotor heads, right? So, what we have, the flight model, accessible flight model with realistic performance, stability system, 2024 native augmented stability system, the electrical system, including the generators, APU, GCU, and external power, multifunction displays, dual function displays, and also then we have our keyboard inputs. This aircraft is available right now over on the INI store, Anybuild store, and it's for sale at €27.54. That's with taxes. So it's what's that in old money? It's about $35 US, give or take, right? Give or take. So what is it? Well, we've seen aircraft released from this developer before, and they've always kind of put a smile on your face because they're pretty cool, right? Now, there's a bit of stuff going on with it. The manual comes to the manual. There's a nice bit of documentation in there. You'll notice straight away that the rotors are actually, locked position, right? And also, well, there's weapons. It has ordnance on the aircraft as well, in which we can interact with. So if I go to where the rotor lock is, I have 2 options here. I can do this just by the walk around, click a button and it unlocks them, or we can do it from inside the aircraft itself. So we'll just do it from the exterior. So that pops out our rotors. No animation, it's locked or it's not, right? And then I think all my pitot covers are removed by the gun cover. But in saying that, you can interact with the gun cover and actually get in and see this, like it's not a Vulcan, but like it's a, is that a 20 mil or a 30 mil? It could be a 50 cal. It looks like sore, it looks like it'll hurt you anyway. So from the exterior, it comes with a number of different liveries. Wear and tear looks absolutely brilliant. The modeling it's top notch. I mean, the thing looks like what it should, So we'll jump in. And we have a rear seat is the main seat, or indeed we have the front seat, right? And what we have in here, then we have the option for the rotor lock, small little button down there. So a bit of familiarization. There are circuit breakers, they don't work. It does have the new night vision goggle, right? But again, doesn't work with chase plane, right? Cobra is on the pedals, hence I think it's based on the Cobra. We have our electrical system. Then we have our weapon system. We have 2 massive displays here. Then we have our, I think there's a HSI on that. Functioning keyboard. Then we have external lights on the right-hand side. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it designed for get you into the air, up and out of there, and away we go, right? So we'll give you an idea of the sounds and whatnot. So we'll come on down here to our battery. Battery coming on. And we'll go ahead and turn on our screens here. All right, so we have some options now when it comes down to the systems. We can look at different systems pages. So here's systems 1, here's systems 2, right? So you're getting a good bit of information here. Anti-ice systems, pitot heat, and also fuel reading information. But we have a lot more, right? So we can go into our flight mode. So this is going to be showing us things like autopilot controls. We have our radar altimeter in there as well. HVSI, or we can just go with a VSI. So depending on what you want to do. There's objects and stuff, missions you can load in. Just like what you saw with the Hunter, okay? Communications, well, that's your radio and also your transponder, right? What do we have here? We have a moving map. Change the layout, change the scale. You can create waypoints, flight plan, all that sort of stuff. Threat display, that's it. Then we have our tactical view. This is the front camera, right? Murph, what would make someone buy this over the Kwik Flight Hunter? You wouldn't buy this rather than the other. I think you'd consider this as just an addition to that, right? It's a different, like the aircraft in the real world always worked in partnership. You obviously see an Apache with a Cobra, usually. Tank hunters and all. They'd use these for reconnaissance and then the Apache would go in and level them. You know. Loadout, we can go in here now and edit the type of loadout that we want. So we can go with rockets, missiles, and we have guns here as well, ammunition and whatnot. We can also change the rate of fire, right? So that's all there. We're going to come back over here to our systems page because we're going to be putting some power into this machine here now. So we're going to start with our APU. So come down here to our fuel valves. We're going to open these and close them up. We'll go with the APU. S is starting, and then R will tell us that it's ready. Apache is Army, AH1 was Marines. Aha. Does it let us can it make things go boom? It can. Only its own assets though. Right, so with the APU starting up, go ahead and get some lights on. Anti-collision lights, we have formation lights. For whatever reason, there's no lights on the rotor. No idea why, right? So let me see. APU is ready. Hydraulics should be on by default. Inverter's currently off. Generator's currently off. So next thing is going to be the engine start switches, in which then we'd have to open up the throttle control on our cyclic. All right. So we're going to go for starting the engines. Give it a second now. Okay, left engine. And open the throttle. Decent sounds on this. Let her spool up. While we're waiting, go ahead and do a quick fire test. Annunciators light up, all is good. Weapon systems, worry about those in a moment. Decent sounds. When am I getting the Hilo cockpit set up? I actually have a Verpal collective there. I need to mount. Just haven't done it yet. James, good to see you. Murph, I am astounded by your knowledge, passion and presentation always. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. Sound is low. It's not really, Al. Turn up your speakers. Right, generator 1 on, inverter on. Let's go for engine 2. I had a low in the sim, Al, yeah. I had a low in the sim. Alright, fuel open. We'll go external. This is out right now. It's available now. So we've got decent sounds. Right, so let's put engines up, generators on, inverters on. And right, let's see what happens here. So if I go return, I want to go to flight. Now there's one thing I have an issue with, and I don't know, is this a Murph issue or is it the chopper, right? But if we look at here, which represents our cyclic input, right? Or sorry, our collective input, it doesn't want to go above 40. So it's as if the collective needs a bit more work, because it's tricky. It's like the first 80% of travel doesn't really do much, and then the last 20% is where it's at, right? So bear with me as we try to explain this, right? Bit of head tracking there, Patricia. There we go. So I'll show you what I mean, right? So the range of movement, I'm at nearly 80% now movement, and it's only in the last 20% we can actually get this puppy off the ground. So I don't know, is that intentional or is that something they need to work on? You know what I mean? But you get the idea here now. As we kind of edge towards the camera here. It's a badass looking machine, isn't it? The problem is definitely between the chair and the PC, right? No, Nate, it's nothing to do with the weight. It's to do with the, like, we can climb, right? But it's just the last 20%. You know what I mean? Like, I'm now at full collective. That's full tilt. You know what I mean? And, like, that reading is only sitting like 37, 38. So I don't know, maybe that's what it's supposed to do. It doesn't feel as intuitive as I expected. But again, this could be a Murphy issue. In terms of how it handles, it flies differently than other choppers. It has it's a relatively stable platform, right? But it's a heli that doesn't like following its nose, if that makes sense. What I'm saying is, you tend to get a lot of strafing movement in this by default, and even then when you kick in your anti-torque pedals, it doesn't necessarily sit on the horizon where you want, you know? Mr. TPHI, no, they're all off. Now it's still telling me low rotor RPM, which doesn't make sense, but sure, listen. Because my instruments are telling me, well, I'm at 100%. You know what I mean? So maybe there's a patch needed. Can't wait to use this with VR. It's a beautiful cockpit, isn't it? Like, it's gorgeous to fly in this. And, like, the detail is really nice. Just looking around, like, it's just a nice machine to be in. You know what I mean? Very pretty. That can get a lot louder. You know what I mean? It's actually a US livery. They just have the German cross on it. Well, it looks to be it's the Marines cross, I think, is it? Now, in terms of things that go bang, it has things that can go bang. So outside of the mission stuff that you can load in, right? We'll turn these guys on. And if we now go to our weapons, and we go first with our guns, and this should be a 10 at a time, right? Right? I'm launching flares there like a muppet. Oops! I'm actually deploying all my flares. Ah, Jesus Murphy. So you can see the animation on the turret. It's actually quite good. Right? And the aircraft responds to all this as well. Then they go for missiles. Shoot them into the water. Missiles away. Imagine if I crashed. Right? And then we have rockets. We have 7 in each. Easy now. So we're getting into the sea. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, frame gen isn't going to like those sort of animations, you know what I mean? It's just like, what? This is moving very fast. But you get the idea. You can feel the kickback from the gun. A little bit like, you know when the aircraft's getting lighter. You know what I mean? But it's nice. As I said, it probably needs a little patch, right? A couple of small little issues. But overall, it's very good. It's like, it's fun. And it does fly differently, so like it'll take you a little while to kind of, you know, get comfortable with it, you know? No, Scott, not that I noticed anyway, no. You had to look at the massive, or the weight and balance. It was maxed out. Let's check. Slow us down there now, Patricia. Oh, you divot it. Alright, hold off speed. Easy now. Come on, Betsy. Build the speed. Easy now. Easy now. Easy now. We're on skids. She's totally sound. Maybe it's in her weight and balance though. Oh yeah. All right, let's try that one on for size. Again, it's still the last kind of 20% that you have all the movement though. You know what I mean? Let's see the strafe. Oh, she'll strafe. Absolutely dead. You look at the strafe on that, man. The thing is nuts for strafing. We have a bit of forward momentum here, but you get the idea for strafing, right? Like, you talk about aggressive. Cancel it off. Try not to kill us, Murph. There we go. Does it allow you to sit in the gunner seat? Yeah, yeah. So here's a front seat, here's a back seat. So you choose your camera and it'll, you know, everything's controllable in both areas. You know what I mean? So we'll see, can we bring this in for a gentle stop? You know, without making a terrible, terrible mess. Ah! Go handy. Easy now. Easy now. Just edge us forward a bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. Easy now. Last 5 feet and we're down. So what do you think? It's kind of cool, right? It does have the inbuilt night vision, but again, I'm using chase plane, that won't work. In terms of the lighting inside the aircraft itself, it's pretty nice. I mean, it's very nice. Interior light, exterior light. We could turn this guy on. And if I were to turn off, if I turned off chase plane, if I sit in here and we just deactivate chase plane, this should work. Hope. Wasn't there a way we can turn this off? Wasn't I press and hold it? In menu. Okay, so it says it's disabled, right? Now how do we interact with the shagging thing? I don't think I can. So there's the night vision on, like, it's native to it, right? Press X. What does X do? Oh yeah, look at that. Now that's a native feature with the sim, lads, right? So any aircraft will actually give you this mode. I did it on a video. So if you want to add this to, you know, your third-party aircraft, even an airliner can do this if you want, right? So that's what that does. So let me see. Menu, reactivate. And then she's disabled then. But you get the idea, right? It's a great chopper. As I said, maybe one or two small little fixes will sort it all out. We'd be laughing, right? In terms of killing it, I imagine the fuel. Turn off the APU as well. And that's all she wrote. So, what do you think? I do have a night vision on reshade as well, yeah. What do you think of it, lads? Pretty. Very pretty. So, next up, we're going to check out this scenery. So, this one here, lads, from Orbx. It's Puerto Rico's San Juan Luis Muñoz Marín International Airport. This is where we are at the moment, right? And we're just going to go exploring it. So, it's a huge airport. Let me see. The main international airport of Puerto Rico, serving the capital municipality of San Juan since 1955, right? And you can kind of see with the kind of state of the place. This is a beautiful part of the world to be in. And the airport itself, it's quite a large airport. And what I like about it, Boeing, thank you very much indeed. Cheers, man. Hope you've been well. Love your streams. Best Flight Sim stream and all of Twitch. Thank you very much indeed. You're very kind. Can I say that again? What did I say? San Juan, yeah, it's very pretty. Like, it's a huge airport, right? It's one of the busiest, but it's strange that you could get, you know, commercial, cargo, military, and general aviation all out of the one airport. It's you don't always see that. Usually GA would stay far away because it's expensive, or the military wouldn't be near where there's cargo for security. You get the idea, right? But anyway, what do we have here? Fully detailed terminals, cargo areas, GA ramps. All terminal boarding areas are modelled. Terminal A, ticketing and baggage area is detailed. 3 custom jetways can be seen. 3 custom jetways as seen. Custom taxi lights. Hado Ray Financial District has been modelled. Areas surrounding the airport has been modelled. Right? Where is this now? Highly detailed Muñoz Army Base. Parking spots correctly labelled. LOD optimised and realism or realistic apron wear and tear. This is, yes, it's payware. It's payware. You can pick it up over on Orbx. It's about €22, give or take, right? But just to kind of give you an idea, so they do have static aircraft, right? That's Tradewind, it looks like, isn't it? Looks like Tradewind. So we'll go over here to kind of the land side first. So your standard kind of signage. Plenty of taxis and stuff parked all over the place. We've people walking. JetBlue have a terminal here. They're just out having a walk. Very good. Into the terminal. Oh, nice. We got sounds in the terminal. I like when developers do that. There's Jemima talking on the phone. They just can't model all humanity. That's pretty cool. Tradewind, yeah, that's nuts. So, like, that's part of the JetBlue, Tradewind, tickets, duty free, right? Security. We can go exploring here. Okay, the map glitched out, or my cameras did. But yeah, look, they got the terminal done. That's pretty cool, right? Characters inside seem a little bit kind of bland. I'm not quite sure. There's plenty to see in here. Rums of Puerto Rico. One, please. Brilliant. Here's the food court. Hey, they got Popeyes. So you do get an interior, which is nice. On the air side then, you got jetways. There's nice detail to them, right? What else do we have then? It's a very interesting looking building, isn't it? It's a fairly big terminal as well. It's huge. Car parking, hotels, air traffic control tower. Let's see if there's any life in here. There is. Whoosh. I mean, pizza and beer. You know you're in a ATC, right? That's all them lads do. They just eat pizza all day and drink beer. What? Lovely details around, isn't there? The old bus. Eamon, they did, yeah, that's exactly what they said. Alright. Now let's see. You've FBOs here. You've general aviation. Again, you've nice traffic here. Cape Air. It's over this way. Any Skodas, no? Airport Aviation Services. Universal Aviation. It's a big enough out spot, isn't it? We got the cargo side. Got a couple of FedEx feeders in here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Twitch seems to be a lot of pausing for me. Really? Is it okay on YouTube? It's okay on YouTube? Okay. Can't imagine they're making Skodas in Puerto Rico. You wouldn't know your luck. Ground motive dependable. UPS have a hangar. Jeez, it's a big old facility. Nice ground detail here as well, isn't there? Ooh. Right. What else do we have? More stuff for UPS. So you have 2 runways. Again, loads of cargo stuff. And then we have the military side of the house. So there's our chopper where we left it. This is C-130. Buildings and just hangarage. A couple of military vehicles here. That's pretty cool actually, isn't it? What's this now? Aircraft support equipment. There's a lot going on here, lads. It's a huge airport. It's massive. 156 security. There's like LOD with that sign, look. It was fine from back here. 156 security forces squadron. 156 contingency response group. And then we got some American flags over there, look. Oh, we got some jets. Oh yeah, there's a nice bit going on here, isn't there? Can anyone name the jet? Sport, welcome in. The Buccaneers. The Sunken Norwegian, welcome in. A7? Corsair? There's a nice bit of detail here. No Skodas. One of these days, lads, we'll have Skodas. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. Yeah, this is nice, man. Look, there's loads of stuff here. Cool. Then we go back over, we got more cargo stuff. Ah, look at that. Ah, B. Janie, would you look at the state of it? They only have the L shorts. That's cool looking. Never in a collection of airplanes have you seen so many shorts aircraft in the one location. That's pretty cool, man. We got some DHL feeders in there. Grand Caravans. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Grab your shorts. Yeah. Let's check out the old night lighting, shall we? Bing. Ooh. Oh yeah, the lighting is good. It's subtle, but it's good. Nice. In the hangar. Nice. The military side, you'd expect it not to be very bright. Lighting, that is. Right? But yeah, this isn't bad at all. Sure it's not. We'll go back down to the commercial side of the airport. The LOD, little bit aggressive. It's not terrible. You know. Yeah, that lighting isn't bad at all. Yeah, it's nice. It's just nice. You know, it's a great effort from the developer, considering we have sounds inside the buildings, right? And there's so much going on at this what's this now? There's so much going on at the airport. That's pretty cool, like there's a lot going on at the airport, considering you know, general aviation, commercial, cargo, and of course military. There's a lot to there's a lot of features to this airport that would make you consider flying in and out of here, you know what I mean? And it's in a stunning location as well, right by the beach. Nice. Have they taken care of the rain in the terminal? Why was it raining in the terminal? Hang on. Jesus, where did I go? Where's that terminal? There we go. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Have we rain, please? There's also an update for Chase Plane. You want to check that out. I didn't grab it yet. Well, it's not raining inside. It's definitely raining outside. Nice textures in the wet as well. And now, this is where you do the real test. Oh, Jesus, then. Look at that. Look at that. That's savage, lads, isn't it? That is pretty cool looking. So the textures on the ground are very, very good. What are they like up this side of the fence? Yeah, they're good. The reflections are better at DFW. It's good though. Oh, fair play to the developer, man. He's done an absolutely cracking job. So that is San Juan Luis Muñoz Marín International Airport from Puerto Rico, released by Orbx, Tango Juliet Sierra Juliet, and available now, right now, over on Orbx. Nice. Great stuff. Right, lads, our last segment. Make the weather somewhat kind of half decent, Murph. For our last segment, we're going to be checking out some hardware, right? Are we ready? So, how am I going to do this now? We'll turn this ticket down, and I'll come over here to a different camera, right? Oh, Jesus! And let's see what happens over here. Where's all my buttons? Look. Right. So if I do, is it this one? It is. Ah, brilliant. We'll turn on this light. Right. What I'm going to show you now. This is pretty cool, right? So I need to unplug it from here. Bring that over. Then we're going to bring this over. I need to plug it in. You see, I need to plug this gadget in. So just bear with me as I'm moving all my stuff here like an idiot. Like an idiot. And if I do this properly, this might work. Huzzah, it worked. So what am I showing? Come over this way a bit. So what we're looking at here, lads, this is a brand new keyboard, right? And it's from Corsair. And what Corsair have done, they've gone off and built a new keyboard, but not only have they built a new keyboard, they've stuck an now Stream Deck into it, right? So I'm just going to bring over some camera-y stuff. And hopefully that's in frame for you now. You can actually see what's happening, right? So you have this kind of armrest, wrist rest thingy, right? But I want to plug it in first. So to show you underneath, to give you an idea, right? And I'll use the other camera to get around here now in a minute. But you have two USB-C connections underneath, right? And then you also have a third one if you want to do onward power. And what I mean by that is you can kind of daisy chain stuff to it, all right? So we'll connect in the power and she'll light up, flare now like an old Christmas tree. And the first thing you're going to be kind of blown away by, it's the weight, right? The weight of this keyboard, it's the heaviest keyboard I've ever come across. But in terms of, you know, the ergonomics of it, the layout, how you can adjust it, it's very customizable. We have these little lats or legs on the back, right? But if you look, there's actually two of them. So you can actually get, you know, the perfect angle. There's actually two settings for these legs. I'll show you here on the side camera. So there's one, and then we just move it up, and there's two, right? So it means you can just get, you know, a fantastic bit of what to call it, ergonomics, right? Ergonomics. Now, yeah, everything's upside down, but you have to bear with me. Look at the other camera, and you can kind of see where things are moving. And then we'll zoom in and I'll show you what it's all about in a while. Like, it's a keyboard. I mean, what makes this keyboard stand out from everything else? That's pretty much what the question is. And why I think, you know, when we talk about hardware in the flight simulation space, why consider this keyboard, right? So we're going to get into it. First and foremost, it's packaging. If you're someone into packaging, well, it comes packed very, very nicely. Savage packing with this, right? So that's the story there, if you can see that a little bit better. It comes in a lovely box. They give you plenty of cables, and they also give you a little tool for taking off the keys, right? If you want to remove the keyboard keys, which you can, they give you a little tool for that. So working on a keyboard, well, it's a keyboard. And you might say straight away, well, okay, I have this over here. Where's my numpad? Now, they've thought of that. So if you want a numpad in there, well, you can use this as a numpad. It's only a matter of you know, you can select a profile from it in here, and then we can go then and activate our numpad. We can also launch the Elgato software, and now we can customize all of this, and I now have a full numpad, right? Upside down, talk about yourself, Murph. Mr. TP, yeah, this is the Mrs. TPHI edition of the keyboard. But again, it's just to give you an idea. I mean, you know what a keyboard looks like in terms of buttons, but I just want to give you an idea. And I'll use the other camera here now in a moment for some up close and just look at the details of it. All right. Now, what's pretty cool about this, the software, it's a web-based client. Some people love using IQ, some people not so much. So the initial setup, if you like, is done via Corsair's web client, which means it saves the information online, and that's where you can get in and control the lighting, and you can really dive into some of the extra features that come with this, right? So what we have, yes, it has the built-in Stream Deck. It has this competitive grade speed, as they call it, because basically what they have in here, I'm just reading down through the specs. What we have in here, it uses this ultra-responsive 8,000 hertz hyperpolling Axon technology, and that's designed to get rid of any sort of input lag. So from a gaming perspective, this will be high-end for gaming. We can also choose how opposing directions are registered using the flash tap, right? And basically what this does, if you're using a WASD keyboard, right, and you're pressing two buttons wrong or one button wrong and it's not giving you the right direction, well, there is a setting on board that'll allow you to do this, right? And it's actually they've pretty much thought of everything here, right? Flipper Alloy, thank you very much indeed. So let's have a look at here. Now we'll just we'll whish down for the moment. So with the Galleon HD 100, or sorry, Galleon SD 100 or the 100 SD. First and foremost, it's a standard keyboard. You can get away with, if you don't want to use the armrest or the wrist rest, you absolutely can, or indeed you can throw it in there. What we have is a high-end gaming ergonomically styled keyboard with a Stream Deck. All right, that's the crux of what we have here. Talking about the technology on board, from a keyboard perspective, you can customize pretty much all of this. We can go with different key assignments. We can use that flash tap, as I'm telling you. You know, you can do macros. You can create your own macros for different keys. You can do all of these things as a standard keyboard, and they use this using Corsair's web hub. So there's no onboard software to run this. And that's everything from your lighting as well. And you can have tons of different lighting designs. You know, you can have it as pulsating, you can have no lights, you can adjust it from the Stream Deck directly, or you can go into the app online as well. So you have a lot of options, right? The amount of actions that are, that's more to do with the Stream Deck. We'll talk about the Stream Deck. So over this side of the fence, we have a Stream Deck, and this is a 12 key Stream Deck. And we also have 2 rotary knobs. We can go left, right, and then press. All right. And there's certain things we can do. The screen, if you're wondering, it's not a touch screen. All right. It's not a touch screen, but it's still very usable. Right, it's very, very usable. So what I'll do, I'll go to this other camera just to give you a kind of a better overview of what we're looking at here, right? So hopefully now this will work, and I'll explain in a little bit more detail what we're doing when I press this button, right? So the full screen mode, and we'll get in and have a look at the details here. So here's the Stream Deck element of it. All right. And again, you have these rotary knobs, and they can change things on your screen. You can see the display moving around, and we can press and hold to jump down to the next section. That now is controlling the audio of Microsoft Flight Sim, and you get the idea. Then I have it set up as a numpad currently, right? But if I didn't want to use it as a numpad, well, what's the next page? Oh, okay, well, I've now stuff in here. I'm using this for radio controls in the sim, right? So I can connect this to the simulator and have controls there as my radio, which is absolutely savage. I mean, we can do these with a Stream Deck, of course we can, but the idea being is, if you didn't want to buy, your telly just turned off, if you didn't want to buy you know, a Stream Deck on its own, or you never had one before, well, you have a real option now, because you're getting a high-end keyboard. And as I say, like, from a production level and also from gaming, this thing has it all, and it's beautiful, and it's also heavy. Like, it's very, very heavy. And the sound of it, it's just gorgeous. The keys press in a certain way. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It really is. It's very hard to kind of explain just how premium it is. Now, it comes at a premium price, right? I mean, it absolutely does. And then you have this FN, the function key. And if you notice, with the function key, well, the keys are actually, see, there's icons on some of the keys. So you know straight away the additional keys by default are function keys. They're all up here on the top deck as well, right? So these are all function keys. And they can access things like volume control, media control, all that kind of jazz. All right? So, you know, it needs a module so you can move the Stream Deck to the left-hand side. Perhaps, yeah, if people wanted to do that. I mean, I have no issue with it there. I mean, for a QWERTY keyboard, my left hand is always going to be over here. My right hand is always going to be there. If I had the Stream Deck over here, it doesn't really matter. You'd probably argue to say, well, they want access to, maybe they could use their mouse. Maybe, you know. But I've never had that issue. So yeah, what we have, I mean, look, some of the apps, I mean, this is an Elgato Stream Deck. So any of the Elgato apps, anything that's inside Elgato, well, you have access to all of these. All right. So you're talking about, right, okay, from a flight simming perspective, yes, I can go in and tune radios, right? Well, I'm not loaded into the sim with an aircraft because I've hit a menu, but that's how you do it there. And you can jump from different stations. You can say, right, we're going to tune in these guys. All right. Over here, then we have, well, that numpad controls on the next page. I'm getting a read on my CPU, GPU, and then the RAM. Again, that's all through system monitoring. There's a quick button here to launch the IQ app. We have a different profile button here, and then we can move along, and we've more. So in here, then, I have additional audio controls, and this is where then I can launch apps, be it Navigraph, SayIntentions, Active Sky, all of that stuff here, right? And that's how we do it. And as I say, it's a Stream Deck. And this is one, I've only made 3 pages here. I mean, you can go on and on and on. You can have tons of stuff in here if you wish. Tons of stuff, right? This is kind of like the default area then with the deck, right? And you can see you can open up Spotify, and we have other options here. If we wanted to add additional pages to this, you absolutely could. So it's a Stream Deck built with a keyboard. And you might be saying, well, okay, as a flight simmer, why do I think this is, well, good? Number one, you're getting a keyboard and a Stream Deck on one single USB connection. That in itself is huge, right? It's the one single USB giving you two devices. Not only that, you can then daisy chain additional devices off this keyboard to something else like your mouse. So now, okay, from a flight, a flight simmer's perspective, one USB could be powering three different things for you. And I think that's important because, well, all the other hardware we look at, you know what I mean? Also, this is like, there's a small little magnet on this, on a little ergonomic wrist pad. So wherever you put it down, it stays. There's rubber seals on the bottom of this. This doesn't move, but it kind of just sticks to the keyboard as well. So you can have it if you want, or if you don't want it, you don't need it. You know what I mean? Again, with the size and with the weight of the keyboard, like it is heavy, right? Looking underneath it, like there's a lot of metal here, lots of metal, and that's where that's the connection into the PC. That's an additional USB, and then we have an additional USB. Where are you? Over there. Where are you? Turn the gadget. There you are, over there, right? Into focus there now, Jemima. So you get the idea, right? But there's a lot of weight in this thing. Ton of weight. But the design of it is really, really nice. Like, I don't know, you could say, Murph, is there any change on this? I know some people were saying, yeah, if you had the Stream Deck over on the left-hand side, for example, yeah, you probably could, right? But to me, this does not bother me in the slightest at all. It's giving you most of the functionality of a Stream Deck Plus, especially with these rotary dials. These are absolutely fantastic, right? They're just deadly. And again, if you're going to be chasing things like radio frequencies, they're class. Absolutely class. You can pop them in and away you go. At a glance, the keys, you're now looking at real-time, telemetry of your PC. Absolutely brilliant, right? And then, because it's a Stream Deck, you can customize this to your heart's content. You can put in multiple control switches, profiles, control your lighting, control elements of the sim. Very, very good, right? Absolutely brilliant, right? Loving it. So, any questions on this particular bit of hardware? I'll go through some more specs, right? As you get our cameras kind of set up here again, right? Like, it's a keyboard. You're kind of limited in how you can kind of show a keyboard off. You know what I mean? Like, it's a keyboard, but we have a Stream Deck with it. And why I think, it's fancy, but why is it important? Or at least why should you be looking at this as a flight simmer, right? Price wise, to come in, where is the price? It's about 300 quid. This, it is not cheap. It's not cheap. However, when you consider things like, okay, do you want a top end keyboard, be it for fast response, customization options, ergonomics, build quality? They're the things you're looking at, right? You'd probably pay 100, 150. For the Stream Deck, you're going to do the same. So see, suddenly the price kind of makes sense now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, that is so expensive. Remember, you're getting access now to the Elgato infrastructure. And that's everything from their audio infrastructure, Stream Deck, like everything comes with it. Plus, there's a whole load of other features on this. For instance, the Galleon. That's the name. They called it the Galleon 100. It can integrate with so many things. There's already apps that you can integrate this with on the Elgato marketplace that are specifically for flight simming or truck simming. Farm simming is in there. So you have all the buttons ready to rock, and the rotary dials work as well, which is class, right? But Stream Deck integrates with Twitch, OBS from a streaming perspective. If you're doing any sort of content creation, Adobe Premiere, all of that works, right? And also the fact that we can change out some of the keys. Like, it's absolutely brilliant, right? So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, I want to show you something briefly. My keyboard's over here. Look, that was funny, wasn't it? How do we undo this now, Murph? Hang on. I'm pressing buttons here. This is so weird. I'm out of my comfort zone. Effects are disabled. Page up to enable them. Yes, thank you. Right. Now, what I want to do one of these. Because I'm going to show you the video. because it's important to see this, because it's absolutely deadly what they've done, right? One over here. Now, have a look at this Galleon 100 SD. If you were to ask me, Murph, is this absolutely worth it? Do you think if I'm in the market for a keyboard and a Stream Deck, is this bit of hardware worth it? Yes. Why? I've never used a keyboard like this before. I've used Corsair keyboards. My last keyboard is still here. I've used it for years. And yeah, it has backlighting, which is nice, and I can change things out. This thing, typing with this keyboard, the comfort, the ergonomics, how much you can adjust it to get that perfect height. I like having a keyboard kind of leaning up into me, right? Then you throw in a Stream Deck into it, which I can now use over multiple applications, be it with Flight Sim, standard, even gaming. You can dial all of these things into the one area. You know what I mean? If you already have a decent keyboard and you have a Stream Deck, this is going to be a hard sell for you, right? Unless you want to condense your space, right, or make your space more efficient, 100%. If you don't yet have a Stream Deck and you're also in the market for a keyboard, this is a really solid option because it is premium. I've been reading online, some folks were having issues with them. I haven't come across any issues, right? Any of the issues I came across, they were my issues. I was inadvertently pressing kind of macros, and that would put the keyboard into gaming mode. It turns up the response frequencies and all this kind of stuff. It was pure lack of learning, right? Lack of learning. But anyway, I'll show you this here now. It's from Elgato. I think it's this one. And it only goes on for a few moments, but have a look at it because, well, it's their trailer. So here's a dude talking, but we'll have a quick look. I won't necessarily show you the whole thing, but I think it's good. Tis very good. I'll show you here now, right? We'll do one of these, and then we'll do one of these. And just have a look at this and see what you think.
What if you took the world's best gaming keyboard and the ultra-powerful Stream Deck and combined them into one? You get the Galleon 100 SD. The world's first keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck, letting you play your best and command your entire gaming setup from one device. Let's take a look at what makes the Galleon 100 SD so groundbreaking. Keyboards have been around since the earliest days of the computer, and they've become better, faster, and sleeker over time with minimal improvement. Fundamentally though, keyboards haven't really changed. You tap a key to send information or commands into a computer, such as entering text or performing a hotkey. Yet, the computers we use and the software powering our workflows have become tremendously more powerful and at the same time complex. There's also more information than ever to keep track of, whether it's monitoring system stats like CPU usage and GPU temps, or your local weather, which of your friends are currently chatting away in Discord, or that song playing through Spotify. It can be a lot of screen real estate to give up. Your keyboard should also simply empower you to do more. Sure, hotkeys have been around for a while and so have custom macros, but they can be unreliable at best or don't work at all at worst. Alt-tabbing also takes you out of the game. In the middle of a crucial boss fight and want to adjust something, Alt-tab. Check CPU usage, Alt-tab. Check that Discord message, Alt-tab.
And that's something very important just to bring up here, right? When we talk about alt-tabbing, when you're leaving your gaming space in order to do this, it's a pain in the ass, right? You got to alt-tab and get out of there. The advantages of a Stream Deck means, well, you can now get to those menus without actually having to leave the game, which is, it's very intuitive. It's really, really good, right? This keyboard, as I said, we don't need to sit here and watch the whole video, but you get the idea. It puts It puts the Stream Deck onto a high-end keyboard. And as I said, from a Flight Sim perspective, I think this is, for us, I think it's a great product. It's genius because I have 4 Stream Decks, 6 of them, right? And they're for all different things, content creation, the whole lot. Having it right by my keyboard, I can now focus on just the gaming element. I'm not even worried about reaching away. Oh, that's plugged into a different USB and all that kind of stuff, right? And just to be clear, I don't get anything. I'm not selling these, lads, right? There's no links. There's no affiliation, right? I happen to know someone in Elgato is like, can I try this out? Yeah, go on, Murph. That's right. So, like all the hardware that I show off, I'm not here to sell you the stuff. It's up to you. But I want to explain what it can do and why I think it is beneficial. If you're in the market, I mean, when you look at a keyboard and you say, 300 quid, you're mad. I get that. But if you're in the market, this is, I think, should be on your list of things to research a little bit further, because you're getting all of this extra capability. And that's what, that's important here. You can look at many keyboards. Stu put up something in our Discord of a mad keyboard and mad stuff, right? But when you look about, right, from flight simming and even gaming in general, having the ability to use Elgato software, which is Stream Deck, which gives you access to their Wave platform and all of this, and having just a high-end keyboard, it looks the part, it feels the part, and it performs. Like, typing on it, it's comfortable. It's not loud. You know what I mean? Looking at the build quality here, here's Brian.
Gasket-mounted design that absorbs shock and delivers a cushioned, springy, and responsive press. 6 layers of sound dampening sculpt that signature Corsair acoustic sound that's deep, satisfying, and refined.
It's like those L'Oreal ads, let's do the science. We never really wondered. It looks very fancy. But you get the idea. And the lighting, as you say, I'll bring it back up on the camera. The backlighting on this thing is superb. The keys are very clear. It's very bright. You can adjust it, right? You can have them off if you want. Or what's pretty cool, you can have the keys respond to when you type, they light up or they change a color. So it's pretty cool, right? You can also change certain areas to have certain colors. So for example, if you are using keyboard gaming, well, you can color code different areas of your keyboard based on what it is that you're doing. Let's say, for example, if from a flight simming perspective, if you wanted to have hotkeys assigned or key binds assigned in the sim, let's say, okay, all my autopilot controls are here. Well, you can use the web software to say, well, see all of these keys, I want them to be yellow. All right. Now, these other keys are for the flaps and the speed brake and, things that interact with the flight. Yeah, well, I want them to be red. Suddenly, before, you're even looking for the key, things are color-coded, so you can go along and say, okay, it's memory muscle. Well, the yellow is for the, avionics. The red is for the doing stuff. You get that kind of idea? So you can color-code all of these, which is deadly, right? Absolutely deadly.
Each key runs on our MLX Pulse linear switches, pre-lubed for smooth travel and minimal wobble. And when it's time to personalize, the board's hot swap support lets you drop in your favorite 3 or 5-pin switches. Performance is instant and precise with 8,000 Hz hyperpolling that's 8 times faster than standard keyboards for true competitive edge.
8,000 Hertz they're using, and you can interchange the keys if you'd like. You can buy those custom keys. I've seen people doing it, right? You get these products, you can buy keys. It's pretty cool. Looking at the web software, right? It's web-based. It's very intuitive. That's it there, right? So that's where you go for your lighting effects. You can select what key you want or what group of keys, the type of effects that you want, which is very good as well.
Our configurator that requires no software installation. Here, you can tune lighting, remap keys, create profiles, and more.
Larry says, dials are fun, but variables for things like interior lights are rarely standard. Yeah. There's certain things the dials work great for. Volume mixers, radio frequencies in the sim, very handy. What else could you use it for? I mean, in theory, you can use it for your autopilot, heading or altitude, turn the switch. And you can do that natively with Stream Deck through hotkeys. You can go with SPAD, you can go with MobiFlight. You can really open this thing up. Plus, there's already bespoke stuff you can buy from the marketplace if you wanted to. You know what I mean? What else do we have? So, everything about Stream Deck, it gives you a world of options when it comes to different plugins. Just think of the application. It probably has it. FlightSim.ai has profiles for specific planes. Yeah. Does the Stream Deck on it need a sub? No. You buy it, you have access to everything. There's no subscription. You buy it, you have it. Stream Deck, they have a marketplace. There are free and payware add-ons, if you like, in the marketplace. But you buy the keyboard, that's it. You now have access to all the Elgato stuff, be it Wave, all the Stream Deck. You have access to everything. Smart home, all that connects into it. So if you have a Stream Deck, there's no additional cost. Your Stream Deck is there. You know what I mean? I mean, need a new keyboard. Love the innovation from Elgato, but I've been a long-term Corsair user. It just works. But Corsair own Elgato. They're the parent company of Elgato, right? And that's, you know, they sat down across the desk and say, right, we're going to merge, to build something together, and this is what they came out with. You know what I mean? You won't have access to Wave, though, unless you have a microwave link, Howling says. No, my understanding is Elgato Wave with a Stream Deck. Yeah, now. What are we looking for? So can we? Elgato. Stream Deck. Let's see. Yes, you can access and use the Elgato Wave Link software without owning an Elgato microphone, provided that you have a Stream Deck. So I wonder, is that the case with the Galleon? That's a good question. And if I don't have the answer, I'll go off and ask them. The Galleon uses the Stream Deck technology, high performance, plugins ready to use. Let's see here now. I think you can. Unlock Elgato Wave Link. Yeah, you can. Yeah, it has it here, look. Let's see here now. Built-in Stream Deck, fully customizable. Where is this now? Command the entire gaming setup from one device. Yeah, it's there. So you have full access to it. Okay, on my Stream Deck it says Open Wave Link, but I don't have it. No, this says has it. Integrations, more features. Let me just double check. Stream Deck app. Stream Deck. Do I need Marketplace? Do I need to change? How many actions can I create? Do I have to use Stream Deck with this keyboard? Can I use another Stream Deck? What switches? Can I connect a mouse? Does it support Windows? Can I control keyboard settings? It says yeah. It says yeah. I'll go off and ask the actual question. My understanding is, though, yes, you have access to it with the software or with the keyboard. Defo, right? Again, looking at the dials.
Like Action Trigger, where a single dial can perform 3 actions when rotating clockwise, counterclockwise, or pressing the dial. And speaking of dials, press and hold them to switch between dial sets, top and bottom. And you can even execute key actions on dials using Action Wheel, which works a little bit like an item or weapon select in a game. Rotate the dial, then press to trigger the action. The LCD screen and keys can be customized with icons that you design yourself, or you can find beautiful icons on Elgato Marketplace and install them in seconds. You can also set full custom backgrounds to match any aesthetic, from abstract to nature, tech, and wave. Or of course, upload your own. Now, to get started with Galleon 100 SD, plug it into your computer with the included USB A to C cable. You can also use your own C to C cable if you'd like. The second USB port on the back of Galleon 100 SD is for USB pass-through. Here, you can connect a USB-C mouse, USB drive, or any other accessory quickly. Once Galleon is connected to your computer, open Corsair Web Hub in your browser to start customizing your device. Now, without Stream Deck software installed, the key and dials will come preloaded with configurations like numpad and common media controls. To take control of Stream Deck, download and install the Stream Deck app from Elgato.com. It will instantly recognize Galleon 100 SD and show the included default profile. Here you'll find tips, tricks, links, and other useful information so you can power up your gaming and creative workflow. Now you can start building out Stream Deck by dragging and dropping actions from the action bar on the right-hand side. And of course, to get new plugins, open Marketplace and start browsing. So, let's recap what you get with Galleon 100
Here's
SD,
the summary, right?
A built-in Stream Deck with 12 keys and 2 dials for instant control. A full-color LCD screen that keeps you informed at a glance. Real-time command of your entire setup from games and apps to your hardware. and high-performance gameplay with fast, tight response and a premium feel. To learn even more, head over to elgato.com, linked in the description. Galleon 100 SD isn't just a new keyboard.
Right, you get the idea though, right? And that's the point, to hear the squeak, that's the point I'm trying to make in all of this. It's, you know, as a flight simmer, is something like this worth your while to consider, right? And yeah, it is on the pricey side, right? Of course it is. But if you were looking at a, you know, you wanted to pick up a Stream Deck, right? Or you wanted to pick up a new keyboard, and here you have the option of both. That's what this stuff gives you out of the box, you know? It's not a touch screen. So this screen does not respond. It's not a touch screen. However, as you move through your profiles that you save, you can change what information is displayed on that touch screen, right? If you press and hold the button, you can control additional screens, right? That's how it works. For the price, you'd probably say, yeah, I would have preferred if they did have a touch screen, right? It's hard to call, lads, right? It's hard to call. But again, just to reiterate, and like, you know, I'm always transparent when it comes to this stuff. Like, I don't sell these. I don't need to sell these. I mean, Corsair and Elgato have enough people to sell them. When I first saw this, and I blame Gibbo, when I first saw this, I was like, oh man, that looks pretty cool. You know, and I'm lucky that, well, I'm just lucky. I happen to know someone said, hey, any chance could I check it out? I think my community would be raving over this. I said, yeah, belt away. So that's why it's here. And I've been using it since last Friday against my old keyboard. And I was like, right, okay. Takes a little bit of getting used to, right? Okay, these keys, my numpad is gone. Well, just it comes with a numpad, you know, it's in there in the profile. Okay, I got my numpad back. Great. Okay, let's start using this as a keyboard. Let's customize it. Let's make it my own. And having all that extra functionality now with the Stream Deck, it is savage handy. It just is. It's savage handy. And it reduces the amount of ports you're using, plus the amount of wires you have. You can daisy chain this on extensions, so, you know, you don't necessarily have to be at your desk. I know if you're on a rig, especially, just having a keyboard, and you don't need the this wrist support, right? It's you know, a way, it's very comfortable, but you don't need that. I mean, you can operate this entirely on its own with just, well, here's the keyboard. So it's now a smaller, much smaller keyboard. It is heavy though. I will say that this thing is heavy. It weighs a ton, but it's very, very good. I'm a huge fan of this thing, lads. You know, a huge fan of this thing. Where's this now? If I do that, you'll see the crack here again, right? So if we turn this gadget around, just to kind of show you the stuff we're looking at. So here's the screen on my side, and like, you can see how bright those the keys are. If I turn off all my lights, right? That's how bright the keys are. And you can adjust these if you wish. I like having that brightness. I like and that transition of the green, the white into the teal. It does all of that. And there's an additional stuff up here. There's like this honeycomb design at the very, very top, and you can edit that as well. Like, that lights up. I'm sure they're gonna, you know, they'll throw in more options with software updates, which of course they always do, right? But you know what I mean? The lighting of it, it can be whatever you want. Plus, you know, as I said, you can assign different colors to different areas of your keyboard, which is pretty cool, you know. I was going to put you can put the Irish flag in it, Scott. You absolutely could. You absolutely could. But yeah, like, what do you think? The first thing you're going to probably think is, yeah, it's expensive. It is expensive. There's no one saying this isn't. But I think it's good value. Things can be, you know, they can be expensive and not be of good value. They can be cheap and not be of good value. This is all about value. And I think there's real value with this keyboard. You know what I mean? It is very nice. Like, you know, from the techie person in, you're like, oh, I love tech. This is definitely up there because it's cool, right? But yeah, it's a keyboard, right? A high-end keyboard, extremely ergonomic, very comfortable. You can adjust the thing in so many different ways, and it just works. It just works. And again, having Stream Deck capability in here, lads, that's reading off my PC in terms of what the CPU, the GPU, and the RAM is doing. And I can change those, you know. And every time I change them, the screen changes up here. So like, there's weather and audio. there's radio comm for comm and nav for flight simming. And here's more audio for different audio channels from the Wave software. So, you know, I want music to be this. I want the game to be that. I want Discord to be something else. That's what it all is. You know what I mean? So hopefully this has done you a service so far as provided you with information. That's my job. If I can, you know, yeah, that's what it is. That's what it does. And hopefully then, you know, if you're in the market and you were thinking of buying one, you now have the information to go off and make that decision. You know what I mean? What's this now? No, it is expensive, but when you consider a Corsair keyboard is 100 quid upwards and a Stream Deck is near 150. Yeah. Plus, you're getting a lot of the capability of the Stream Deck Plus, which is, that's more expensive. You know what I mean? So, no, I think they hit a home run with this, lads. I think it's brilliant. I'm sure software will make it even more functional, right? Whether or not, you know, do we want the Stream Deck to be interchangeable, modular? You know, maybe you can make the whole system modular, maybe, you know. But as the first of its type from Corsair, I think this is brilliant. I really do. So, right, that's all we have for you now. Hopefully, you found tonight was informative and, you know, creative, as we try to do. But I want to thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in, keeping me company here, and you'd be amazed the amount of work goes into setting up these cameras. You know, it's up, you can't see it, it's up there, up and high, the camera looking down at us. You know, this fella, right? I can move. Oh, look at everything. Oh, yeah, I forgot you can do things like that. Shameless plug on the merch. Look, hang on, it's reversed. Oh, would you look at that? See how it zooms and that's very fancy. But anyway, you get the idea. You can never have enough buttons. Absolutely. But yeah, bit of crack. Loads of fun setting this stuff up. But anyway, lads, I want to thank you all very, very much indeed. If you have any questions about what we've covered tonight, be it the interview with Evan or any of the news that we covered, be it with Say Intentions and with Traffic Plus and all the other stuff, the add-ons that we saw from the Striker from Kwik Flight, and of course the airport with Orbx. Very, very good stuff. So if any questions, just let me know. Yeah, get the idea compilation. Yeah, the idea. That's the idea. Yeah. Oh wait, yeah, I might have said that's the idea once or twice, but right. But anyway, thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in, and yeah, we're over on Discord if you need any further assistance or questions, or you just want to say hey, ! Discord is where we live. We're back to you tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, 1100 Zulu, for some pilot training. We complete, hopefully, the last stage of our virtual PPL with Navigraph, and then we'll start prepping for our final US flight from our VATSIM Thursday series. Going to see us flying out of, where are we going? Ontario over to Albuquerque. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. But lads, as always, thank you very much indeed for tuning in. Keep me company, and we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, you take care. It's one of the finest Warbirds ever released in Microsoft Flight Simulator, considering you have the excellent work of Flying Iron. This thing, because of the extra features, because of the optimization, because of how well it looks and sounds, even flying this thing gives you an experience you probably haven't got already in the sim when it comes to flying a Warbird. It feels heavy. It feels cumbersome. It behaves differently. And there's a lot of depth to it. It's a cracker. It's a masterpiece. Oh, I never did the thing, look. Holy crap. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. We're going in, that's it. There's no turning back at this stage. Jesus, mind the bears. To look at this biggie just... Oh no, we're dying! Quick!